speedway here as well. But when they squared it off, they really...
Me and the band have known each other since we were kids. We live in the same town, work at the same bar. When we go on tour,
It's like a little adventure. You like to go in style. Yeah, we know.
when we
You. Road. Uninterrupted music. Got it. No, really. I got...
Bit of a charge now through midfield. Surely that is one of the great saves.
Had no right to stop that. Had no right to get a hand on it. What a stop.
Now Casemiro. Marco Asensio. Into the attacking third. Marcelo. Came in with a challenge. And that's Marcelo simply taking the ball out of play there across the line. And very confident to get the game moving again. Advantage played for Chelsea. Marcos Alonso.
I called you tonight. I've been thinking this for too long. Send a message, you don't reply. I'll keep looking for you, even if it's wrong. Sitting all alone in my room. You stuck so hard in my head. I don't care if there's no chance. I need to find you. I need to know. I need to know. I need to know if I'm still in your heart. If I'm still in your heart, I'll try stop the ball to know if I'm still in your heart. I'll try unbeatable to find myself back in your heart. I called you tonight. I've been thinking this for too long. Send a message, you don't reply. I'll keep looking for you, even if it's wrong. Sitting all alone in my room. You stuck so hard in my head. I don't care if there's no chance. I need to find you. I need to know. you, I took the pain. Knew that it was wrong to stay. So I told myself I'd walk away. I think I'm ready now, ready now, ready now. And I'm so over you dragging me down. Just wanna let it out, let it out, let it out. Feel so free, gonna shout it out loud. Without you I'm limitless. There's nothing that you could do to break my spirit or shatter the silence. Oh, I'm telling you that I am fearless. Without you I'm limitless. There's nothing that you could do to break my spirit or shatter the silence. Oh, I'm telling you that I am fearless. I will shatter the silence. Oh, I'm telling you, I am fearless. I am fearless. I am fearless. I will shatter the silence. I am fearless. It's like a battle every day. Fighting as we watch our feelings fade. You always made it my mistake. Promise myself I'm not to blame. I think I'm ready now, ready now, ready now. And I'm so over you dragging me down. Just wanna let it out, let it out, let it out. Feel so free, gonna shout it out loud. Without you I'm limitless. There's nothing that you could do to break my spirit or shatter the silence. Oh, I'm telling you that I am fearless. Without you I'm limitless. There's nothing that you could do to break my spirit or shatter the silence. Oh, I'm telling you that I am fearless. Oh, I'm telling you, I am fearless. So limitless, limitless. I am fearless. I am ready now. I am fearless. I will shatter the silence. I am fearless. Close your eyes, don't think it much. Maybe then you'll feel alright. All these noises, all these voices, they give me tied to the ground. Breaking freely, but all behind. It's all so harmful to me. Poison. for the me. Poison. It's in my veins, in my head, taking over and over again. It's in my veins, in my head, taking over and over again. Feeling all my senses, I'm under control. What do I keep going back?
From close range, he took full advantage.
It's a proper striker's goal, that one. He gets just as much satisfaction out of that.
Man, what a song. Makes me feel like dancing.
Just a reminder, 3-1 it is now, the scoreline. It's with Marco Asensio. Quick-witted and quick in his movement too to intercept there. Marco Asensio. He's coming forward with some danger, taking on the defenders. That'll be a free kick against Chelsea.
I've been working on some issues, things that I'm not really used to. And I watch my back cause this is so new, but it's something that I could get into. I keep on thinking about you, I got no time to deny the truth. You gotta give me your time, and I gotta keep myself contained, baby. Won't you call me baby? I just wanna love you, baby, let me love you. I just need a taste, I just need a way to keep me from going crazy. Now you need some time before you can call me baby, before you let me in, yeah, before you let me in. I just need a taste, I just need a way to keep me from going crazy. Now you need some time before you can call me baby, before you let me in, yeah, before you let me in, baby. I've been working on my own wave, I make up my mind every day. In the end, I'm always thinking your name, feeling like I'm going insane. I keep on thinking about you, I got no time to deny the truth. You gotta give me your time, and I gotta keep myself contained, baby. Won't you call me baby? I just wanna love you, baby, let me love you. I just need a taste, I just need a way to keep me from going crazy. Now you need some time before you can call me baby, before you let me in, yeah, before you let me in. I just need a taste, I just need a way to keep me from going crazy. Now you need some time before you can call me baby, before you let me in, yeah, before you let me in, baby. In, baby, let me in. I want to believe what I'm feeling right now. I want you to see that I'm breaking it down. Come take a ride with me. I just need a taste, I just need a way to keep me from going crazy. Now you need some time before you can call me baby, before you let me in, yeah, before you let me in. I just need a taste, I just need a way to keep me from going crazy. Now you need some time before you can call me baby, before you let me in, yeah, before you let me in, baby.
Well read by the defender.
It started out with a kiss and then it ended like this. I was in an abyss, and was there something I missed? I still have your pictures, and every day since I felt like I missed her. It don't make no sense, I was in bed when you sent that text. Why did I answer? Why did I answer? Why did I answer? Got no reason for your calls, no forgiveness for your flaws. Now I'm happy on my own, now I'm moving through it all, finding who you are. Wouldn't be so hard if you just came and talked. Why do you call me when you're lonely? Never when you party, always trying to harm me. Think you found somebody, know the circumstances, don't care if you harm me. I'll just take my chances, don't care if it harms me. It started out with a kiss and then it ended like this. I was in an abyss, and was there something I missed? I still have your pictures, and every day since I felt like I missed it. It don't make no sense. I was in bed, should've left you on red. Why did I answer? 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 Why did I answer?
Play to Mendy. Into the attacking third. Cross driven in low. Very good distance to the clearance. Some options now for the pass. Come away with the ball cleanly. Great tackle. Really strong tackle, and the ball's gone out for a throw. Marcos Alonso. Got the opposition backpedaling a little bit. Wants to get at him, and he's got past it. Sergio Ramos clears it here.
Am I small enough now to fit inside your mind? But it drives you crazy to know what in you like a parasite. I am an instancy, there is no end to
We like to party every day, party every day. Party every day, party every day. We like to party every day, party every day. Party every day, party every day. We like to
Got his shot off now. And that's a save for the goalkeeper. Here's Casemiro. Isco! Oh, they could have increased their advantage then.
Yeah, I think that would be.
there to read the direction of the throw. Werner.
And a corkscrew made from a meteorite.
And the weather, snow and sleet.
And here she goes.
It will push southwards across parts of northern Scotland. Rain.
Yeah, happy birthday, Don. Kai Havertz in this Chelsea side. Do you think that's partly in reaction to how he did against Fulham and the goal-scoring threat?
I think so. I think he was terrific. I was here for the game and Chelsea were cruising. And I wonder if it's a ploy, you know, from Thomas Tuchel. It might not be anything in it, but I wonder if he played on Chelsea at the weekend against Fulham and he played up front with Timo Werner. So I wonder if Thomas Tuchel is playing the pair so they can maybe converse in German, maybe they can communicate a little bit easier, but certainly on Sunday they were absolutely terrific against Fulham. They scored 2, but it could have been 4 or 5.
And maybe that gives him options. I know Ian in the team news said it could be Havertz and Mount just behind Timo Werner, but equally I suppose Timo Werner could go out wide and Havertz could play as a kind of false 9 if he wanted him to.
He could. I think Chelsea will go with 5 in midfield. I think the 2 wing-backs, Ben Chilwell and Azpilicueta, will stay quite wide. They'll be up and down either flank. And I think Mason Mount, like the first leg, will play a little bit deeper alongside Jorginho and Conte and then have the pace of Timo Werner and the trickery and the skill of Kai Havertz when needed.
I mean, it sounds a ridiculous question to ask this, but I'll ask it anyhow. How important do you think this is for Chelsea Football Club?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. I mean, it's absolutely huge. I mean, Thomas Tuchel, I like the things that he's said since he's been through the door. I like the fact that he's already looking to next season. I like the things that he's saying when he's saying we're going to hunt down Man City. That's what you want to hear. I think if you're a Chelsea player, if you're a Chelsea fan, you don't want to hear your manager saying, we're going to try for top four and maybe win a cup. I think he wants it a lot. And I think you'll see it in their performance tonight. I think it'll be very cagey. I think it'll be a chess match. I don't think it'll be an open game, but I think it'll be a really good game to watch. Because and for Chelsea, it'll be great to get to the final against City.
Sorry, Dar, I was going to say, because partly, Ian, whilst that is a daft question, does it feel more this time that this could be a platform for Chelsea as a club going forward, as opposed to when we heard the clip there of Didier Drogba winning it for them last time?
Well, I just think if you look at Chelsea's record of late, I mean, they've won 16 major trophies since 2003. And I don't think, and they've changed the managers left, right and centre during that period of time, yet they've still had an incredible amount of success. In the Champions League era, there is not one other English side that can match Chelsea's record of reaching, this is their 8th Champions League semi-final. So they've had the success. What they haven't had is they haven't had that level of stability to match the success. Like with, the longevity of Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, or a Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United, a Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. Yet they've had the success.
It works for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But if for instance it's not working in 18 months' time, and it is for Thomas Tuchel at the minute, they won't hesitate for changing the manager, but they'll bring in somebody else. And yet you think of the way that they've rotated the managers, they haven't really had a barren spell, have they? I mean, 16 major trophies since 2003.
Yeah, it's not a model you'd want to copy, but at the same time it works for Chelsea. If you're a manager come through the door. I was laughing at Thomas Tuchel's interview a couple of weeks back when he was saying, he was quite upset when the deal came through via email, the 18-month contract, and he said he was annoyed. And then he thought about the deal and he thought, well, if I'm not performing, if I wanted a 5-year deal, if I'm not performing in 18 months, I'd be gone anyway. So I think he realises the job that he's got on.
But Chelsea getting to a Champions League final and potentially winning the Champions League under Thomas Tuchel has a different feel to it, with all due respect, to Chelsea winning the Champions League under Roberto Di Matteo. It didn't feel like that gave him that much extra added security. And I take your point that no manager at Chelsea has that much security. But you'd sense, because of Tuchel's reputation, he'd have a bit more, surely.
Yeah, and also, with 2012, there was a number of players, that seemed to be their final opportunity, maybe a number of players in that side. This could be the start of something special when you look at players, Timo Werner, 24, Havertz is 22, Mason Mount, Ben Chilwell. If they can keep the nucleus of these youngsters, add the quality to it, then I agree that it could be the start of something to rival Manchester City.
Well, there's only so many managers that can keep going through Chelsea, isn't there?
Yeah.
So they've got the best one at the moment in Thomas Tuchel, so why not, if they get to the final and potentially win it, and they'll fancy the job if they get through tonight against City, why wouldn't you want to keep Thomas Tuchel for a few years?
Guillaume Balaguer also at Stamford Bridge this evening. Hi, Guillaume.
Hello, Mark.
If this is the start of something special for Chelsea, is it just about still clinging on for Real Madrid, or is that being harsh?
No, it is a bit like that. It is Real Madrid that's based still on the leadership of Ramos, on the quality of Kroos and Modric and Casemiro as well, Benzema up front. All that sounds pretty familiar, but allow me to very quickly run through the team in a different way to Ian, who I think he used the word strong. Let me just say that Ramos has actually not played for Real Madrid since the 16th of March. Mendy has not trained for 3 weeks. Kroos has only played one game out of the last 5, and that was against Chelsea, and he wasn't fully fit. Modric has never been so tired. That's the team that the energetic young Chelsea is facing tonight.
Well, and we saw that energetic young Chelsea in that first leg and the problems that they can cause. So you would anticipate bearing in mind what you just said about some of their players, that Real Madrid will encounter exactly the same difficulties this evening?
They'll try to avoid the difficulties that they found, especially in the first 25 minutes of the first half. If you remember, they were bullets, the Chelsea players. And I remember talking to Zidane after the game, and he was saying, we just arrived late to every pressure that every time that they had the ball, we were always late. So he changed that, and he made, started raining here as well.
Yeah,
this is going to be similar to Manchester last night.
You haven't got hail yet, have you?
No, but it's cold though. It's very cold. But yes, they decided to move Modric and Kroos further deeper to kind of build from the back, and Casemiro was the one with the first step towards the pressure. A little bit of a tweak in the second half, but mostly what happened in the second half was like, can we take the game, Real Madrid decided, can we take the game to our way of playing, slow things down, and basically that's what's happened. I'm seeing Roberto Carlos, Jan Molby, Stig McManaman, Peter Schmeichel being wet because the rain is coming and they weren't prepared for it.
Sounds like it's absolutely bucketing down.
It is. It is. And now everybody's getting their umbrellas up. But yeah,
have we put you in the cheaper seats and Ian and Don are in the much higher up where they're going to stay dry?
I'm looking down, Mark. I mean, he hasn't prepared for the rain. I mean, there's not many brollies down there. Steve McManaman's soaking. He's not got one.
No, but Guillem has got previous with this, because I remember Guillem turning up to Seville in the Nations League when it was biblical in terms of the weather that day, and we were all there shivering in our coats, and Guillem was there in a shirt, I seem to recall.
I tell you, it tells me something about their character, though. If Guillem wants a brolly, Steve McManaman's not bothered, and Roberto Carlos is not bothered.
We're going to talk Sergio Ramos now, but let's hear from Aitor Karanka first of all. 3-time winner of the Champions League with Real Madrid, former assistant manager at the club. He will explain how vital Ramos is in that dressing room.
His presence is important. He's the kind of leader that just with him on the hotel, with him on the pitch, the teammates are much more comfortable. And in this kind of game, semi-finals, the Sergio experience is amazing. Not just in Real Madrid with the national team, he's won every single trophy. So with him on the pitch, or with him just traveling with the team is important. This is the kind of player that as a manager you love it. The opponents respect him a lot, which is also important. And again, it's this kind of players who, when they are on the pitch, is important for your team, and the other teams feel their presence on the pitch.
Given what Karanka says, Guillem, about his presence, the implication is that no matter when he last played and no matter how serious the calf injury that he has been carrying, he's worth the risk because of his presence.
Look at science when he makes a lot of choices in the team, and Sergio Ramos is one that, how do you calculate his leadership in number? You just cannot do it. He's played only 20 games this season, in the worst season in his career, really, since he was 19 and arrived to Real Madrid. In a season in which he's trying to renew his contract, remember it finishes at the end of the season, and he was playing hard to get. Right now, he's a little bit desperate for Real Madrid to accept something and give him perhaps 2 years, which is what he wants. But he hasn't been able to actually be on the pitch and say, look, this is the reason why you need to give me a new contract, because he has been, from that point of view, a poor season for him. And when he has been missing, Nacho has done really well, Militao has done really well, Varane as well. And we'll see if he is protected, Sergio Ramos, today by two other centre-backs, because we could imagine it could be 4-3-3, yes. Yeah. But Zidane has used 5 different formations this season, and a lot of the time, especially in the first leg against Chelsea, with 3 at the back. Let's see if that's the case or not, but in any case, he will always count with a one-leg Sergio Ramos if necessary.
Well, I have to say, Don, in the build-up to the Real Madrid-Liverpool Champions League tie, I kept being told how calamitous a partnership Nacho and Militao could be, and certainly in that first leg, I know they were under the cosh a bit in the second leg, but in that first leg, they actually seemed a decent partnership, and they cleared it when they needed to clear it. They didn't faff about with it.
No, I think that was key for them. I don't think they tried to overplay. And sometimes when you ask defenders and you say, can you do this and can you do that? And do you want to play out from the back? It wasn't the night for those two. And they're very good defenders in their own right if they do the simple things. And we've all had one of them games, Mark, when you play and you just think, you know, you're having an absolute worldie. And the two as a pair, you thought before the game Liverpool could take them on quite easily. But as a pair, they stood up really well tonight. And just on Guillaume's point, when he's talking about the players who have not played too much game time for Real Madrid, he's right. But at the same time, don't underestimate experience and how you can get through a 90-minute game or extra time. You know, when you've got hundreds and hundreds of games behind you, you can survive a 90 minutes and more in the first game. Normally when you come back injured, it's games 2 and 3 after that takes the effect. But for a one-off potential 90-minute game, you know, they've got some serious experience, Real Madrid.
So when we talk about being a presence and being a talisman, as Karanka said there, is that presence more important for his own Real Madrid teammates, or is it more important to send a message to Chelsea? Because, I mean, you look, as we've talked, you look at that Real Madrid side, I mean, there are some experienced players in there. They surely don't need the presence of Ramos to fire them up. Is it more to say to Chelsea, oh yeah, we've got our leader back, we've got our 4 times Champions League winner back?
I don't think it's the effect it would have on Chelsea, because Thomas Tuchel will be saying the same thing as what Guillaume said about Sergio Ramos. He's not fit. You know, he might be a yard short, so he'll get Kai Havertz and he'll try and get Timo Werner to try and play on his side. If Timo Werner's got any sense tonight in terms of what he's thinking and how he's thinking about the game, he will play on Sergio Ramos. He won't get near Militao, because that'll be a fantastic race. If you're Timo Werner tonight, get on Sergio Ramos and test him, especially early on and especially in the latter parts of the game. I think it's more the fact that his presence is for the Real Madrid fans, but more so the players on the pitch. You know, he controls everyone. You hear him. He barks his orders every second and every minute of the game. It's what effect he'll have on Militao alongside him, and Nacho at right back, and Mendy, and then even Casemiro just in front of him. He will want protection tonight, and he might ask Casemiro, Toni Kroos and Modric to try and play a little bit deeper so he doesn't get exposed.
Do Real Madrid regret signing Eden Hazard, Guillaume?
Well, who could expect something like this? You're talking about somebody that scored 21 goals and 17 assists, and hardly anybody else in the world had those kind of numbers the season before he arrives to Real Madrid. He was in 17-18, and now starts looking a little bit a long time ago, but in that World Cup as well, the best dribbler in the games, in the whole of Europe. That means that he tried it 9 times and 8 times came off. So it's better stats than Messi, better stats than Cristiano Ronaldo. But 2 things have happened, I think. Obviously, the injuries, he's been very, very unlucky with them. But I feel, looking back and studying a little bit the mentality of Hazard, every time he was pushed to be the best player in the world, or when he was getting close to it, he kind of gave up on that opportunity. You heard from Jose Mourinho saying to him, you could be eating the same table as Cristiano and Messi. And he started getting injured and he started playing poorly. When Conte tried that as well, he just didn't match that kind of potential that he's got. And Sarri always said he doesn't do what he should do. At Real Madrid, he's been given the opportunity to replace Cristiano Ronaldo, and he hasn't completed that job. Yes, partly because of injury, but I think he prefers an easier life than being right at the top.
Oh, interesting. Don?
I agree everything Guillaume said. I think when you look at Eden Hazard, he's quite happy being laid back. He's quite happy not being the superstar, even though he should be, because he's a genius. And Guillaume's absolutely right. He should be, in the conversation with the likes of Messi and Ronaldo, not in terms of their stats and their numbers, because they're just absolutely ludicrous, but in terms of ability. The guy's got incredible ability, but I think he quite likes to be a laid-back character. I think he's that way off the pitch as well, but I guess when you're at Real Madrid, you can't be like that. You've got to stand out and you've got to shine.
Guillaume, you talked before about...
Go on here.
Sorry, you're just saying that Ramos has only played 20 times this season. Eden Hazard has only played 17 games. Sure. I think he played for just over 70 minutes at the weekend against Osasuna. I don't know if you saw, how sharp was he? Because as a substitute against Chelsea in the first leg, and in the previous cameo role against Cadiz, he was very quiet. So what was he like at the weekend, and how sharp can we expect him to be tonight?
he doesn't have the extra pace that you need to beat a defender. He doesn't have that. We haven't seen that since he arrived, and that's almost 2 years. So he's played more through the centre now as a number 10, if you like, trying to link up with Benzema. And the first touch is there. He obviously has got that quality, but he came in for a different reason. That role is now. That's why Vinicius is playing. That role is given to Vinicius. So when they need to attack the space, it will be Vinicius making the run, but it will be probably Hazard feeding him. That's why I'm not sure what kind of position what kind of formation Zidane is going to play. But I do not expect Hazard to start a lot of the attacks from the wide areas.
Fascinating stuff. Chelsea against Real Madrid gets underway in just over half an hour's time. Full commentary here with Ian Dennis and Don Hutchison. Let's go to the Women's Super League game. The final whistle has gone. Are Chelsea now top of the table? John Southall.
They are, because they've beaten Tottenham by 2-0, and they are back in control of the title race. Sam Kerr with a goal in each half, her 19th and 20th of the league season, and it's put Chelsea on the cusp of the title. They're back on top of the WSL table, 1 game to play. They're 2 points ahead of Manchester City, so a win against Reading on Sunday and they will be champions. It's finished Tottenham 0, Chelsea 2.
Thank you very much, John. Let's just focus on this tactical battle in midfield, because Don, you think it will be virtually a 5-man midfield for Chelsea, yeah?
I do. A 3 in midfield to rival Real Madrid's 3, so it's man for man, basically.
So let's hear then about N'Golo Conte from his boss, Thomas Tuchel.
I mean, the guy is top guy, and he is the guy you need to win trophies, obviously, and that's why we are so happy that he's here and that he's in our club. I was dreaming about this player, fighting for this player, dreaming about this player in any club I was coaching. So now he's my player, and as you mentioned it, he won any trophy except for Champions League. Hopefully he will do everything that we get this trophy, and for me he's an example, and he's an unbelievable input for any team in the world, and we are so happy that he plays for us. He is key. I'm so happy that these players like him exist, and to express yourself by pure performance is a pleasure to watch. And what he is doing with this mentality is the mentality of a real helper that will always give anything to help everybody on the pitch out there, and being such a nice, humble and quiet guy is a fantastic combination.
Ian, from what you've seen of Kante and Chelsea this season, is he rejuvenated under Tuchel?
Yeah, I think he is. I was reading an article today about him, and they were saying that as a person he's quite shy, and people, even at Chelsea, don't really know much about him as a person. But you look at it, I thought he was outstanding last week. You know, he was everywhere, and I do think that he is rejuvenated. He pops up here, there, and everywhere. He's the catalyst, drives them forward. And before, sometimes he was taking Chelsea downfield he was driving forward. I just think that he's for what he's won in the game, the Premier League, the Europa League, the FA Cup, he's chasing his 4th trophy, but he could be the catalyst for Chelsea tonight if he can repeat what he did last week.
It's funny how managers see players, isn't it? We were all going crazy a few years back when Maurizio Sarri took him out of that holding midfield role, and we thought, what's he doing as the best holding midfield player in the world? But he wanted him to drive on, and he wanted Chelsea and N'Golo Conte to win the ball higher up the pitch. Frank Lampard done exactly the same. Now Thomas Tuchel's doing exactly the same. He's not playing him to hold a midfield player. He wants Jorginho to be the sort of quarterback. So I think he just gets on with his role. I think you ask him to play right back, I think he could do it. If you shoved him out on the right wing, if Azpilicueta got injured, or Reece James, he'd do the same job, because his energy level's just incredible. His appetite for the game and his desire is just great to watch for any youngster. Just watching N'Golo Conte, the way he applies himself.
But Don, that's exactly what Sarri wanted. Sarri wanted Jorginho to be his quarterback, and then Conte to do the running, and got hammered for it. But is it different because this formation is different? So does that require different things of Kante?
No, to be honest, I was one of them, Mark. I was one that was going, why on earth would you do it? Why on earth would you take the best holding midfield player out of his position and ask him to do something different? But then I saw the effect that he was having, because Jorginho, the quarterback, can start off the plays. You know, you think like a Busquets, it's a different type of player than having an N'Golo Conte or a Makelele. So for Conte to win the ball back higher up the pitch with his energy, and that's where he'll get it, Toni Kroos or Luka Modric tonight. That's where I see Real Madrid, if they are going to struggle in the game, if they've got periods in the game where they might struggle, that three-man midfield, if Modric, Casemiro and Kroos are going man-for-man against Mason Mount, Jorginho and Conte, and then Chilwell's free, left side, Azpilicueta's free, right side, Toni Kroos is going to want help from Eden Hazard. He's not going to want to be going all the way back. Then Modric is going to be saying to Vinicius Jr., can you come back on the right-hand side and help me? So Real Madrid will effectively turn themselves into a five-man midfield, and then Benzema's up front on his own.
Let's not forget as well with Conte in, at the start of the season, or even at the end of last season, although they're two very similar things, aren't they? But the summer, at least, let's say, there were a lot of rumours that if Chelsea could get Declan Rice, that Conte would have been the one who might have been moved on. And actually, given the way Thomas Tuchel talked about him, Paris Saint-Germain would have probably made a bid for him, actually, if Tuchel wanted him, and then it would have all been very different.
Yeah, it seems unthinkable now, doesn't it? When you the way that you watch him play, that they were prepared to let him go. I mean, Declan Rice is a terrific young prospect, but you can't compare the two of them. They're two different players. I mean, the energy levels that Kante has, and I thought last week, Real Madrid, the way that they matched up with Chelsea, going with the three, they played into Chelsea's hands, and then Chelsea, I thought, maybe even caught Real Madrid a little bit by surprise with their intensity and their energy levels that they showed. I mean, the first half an hour last week was all Chelsea, and Real Madrid will be pleased that they're still in this tie, because they could easily have been blown away.
I wonder if Thomas Tuchel, Mark, has been so surprised and so excited of how good N'Golo Conte is. You know, sometimes as a manager, when you're looking in, you might be thinking, well, he's a good player, he's exceptional. But when you work with him every single day, and he's hardly injured, and he's going through the kilometres every single game, he's hitting 15k, 16k every single game, and he's durable and he's reliable. Thomas Tuchel's going to be so impressed with that.
So, I mean, 16k is way above the average, isn't it? 15k, 60k is what, 3-4 above the average?
Yeah, that's the numbers these guys are hitting these days. Anywhere between 14 and 15.5k, but with Kante, you know he can do more. He's just an incredible player to watch. He's better with the ball than most people give him credit for as well. You know, he sees the picture. You could, you know, when he plays in that position, you're going to then start saying, well, can you get more assists and more goals? I don't think it's ever really going to be his game. I think he'll leave that to others. But what a player for effort and industry and an appetite for the game to have behind potentially Timo Werner and Kai Havertz tonight.
When you look at it, his record, though, I've just had a glance now. He hasn't actually started that many games in the last 10. He's probably made more substitute appearances in the last 10 or 12 games than he actually has started.
Scratch that then. So scratch that durable and fit for every single game.
To be honest, though, Ian, if I'd done 15, 16k, I might probably need the next game off.
No, but I'm just looking at the games that he has started. He's started against Porto in the Champions League, Manchester City the FA Cup semi-final, Real Madrid the Champions League semi-final. Wow. So, I mean, it must be a question for the managers. Yeah, whilst I mean, I think that's what Pep Guardiola has done so superbly well for Manchester City, the way he's rotated his squad.
This is by no means.
I was thinking out loud.
This is always dangerous. This is by no means an age dig, Dom. But do you have any idea how, when you played midfield, what your kilometres covered would have been in a game? Just as an idea of maybe if the game how much the game has developed.
I wouldn't know, to be honest, but I can remember being a young boy at Liverpool, and Graham Souness got me in the office and he told me I was running around too much. And he said to me, you need to learn how to stand still, because I was a cross-country runner, so I could run for fun. Yeah. And I had people like Jamie Redknapp and Jan Molby and Ronnie Whelan who could all handle a ball. So when I got into the side, I thought, well, it's pointless me trying to be as good as them. I'll be what I'll be, because I'm a good runner, and they can take care of the ball. And Graham Souness was right. And years later, I remember playing for West Ham, and it was like a light bulb moment. I stood in the middle of the pitch, and I had a really, really good game. And I felt as though I'd hardly moved. So that's what someone like Jorginho will do. You wouldn't see Jorginho probably necessarily hitting 15k, but what an impact he can have on the pitch.
Which is why, if you talk to people within the analytics departments and sports science at clubs, that graphic, I mean, we've just spent a long time talking distance cover, but when that graphic does come up on TV, when substitutes come off of, 11k distance covered, that's not massively relevant to those within those, first team sports science, medical analytics department, because it doesn't tell you a massive amount. It could be that a player is consistently out of position and just has to run to get himself back into position.
Yeah,
so it's how you use that figure.
Exactly. You've got to be very careful when you start talking stats. If you're not watching the game with your own eyes and just rely on stats, you've got to be very careful. I remember being at Sheffield United and we had a coach called Willie Donaghy, and he was obsessed with stats, like incredible. So he was saying to our left back and right back, I want you to put 15 to 20 crosses in the box. Well, all they were doing to get the numbers up, they were putting crosses in the box from the halfway line and not using the ball properly. So then we had to have a go at the left back and the right back, forget about the numbers. But then he was, obviously going to get a chasing from the manager and the number 2 afterwards for not hitting the numbers. So you've got to be very, very careful when you talk about stats. I remember when social media very first started a few years back, when I was watching an Arsenal game, and I watched the game, and I didn't think Mesut Ozil had a particularly good game, and I thought, well, he's not really moved. And social media, Arsenal fans were telling me that he covered ridiculous amounts of kilometres. And I was thinking, that's not the game that I've just watched, I don't see it. So I got the stats guy to check out how many kilometres he ran. And it was actually really impressive. It was high numbers. And I thought, I'm sure that's not the game I watched. So I asked the stats guy to do a little bit more digging. Arsenal on the day had the record amount of corners. So all he was doing was going from corner flag to corner flag. That's why he had 15k. And I was thinking, I knew it. Because that wasn't the game that I watched.
Wasn't there a Blackburn Rovers player who did that?
Yeah, Benny McCarthy. Benny McCarthy on as a guest ages and ages ago. Morton Gamps Pedersen, I think, would sprint to take a corner, which would I'm fair. And if it's not Morton Gamps Pedersen, I'm very sorry, but I'm fairly sure Benny McCarthy said that he would sprint to take a corner because that would then get a high intensity sprint up. Because that was the other story about, we're going way off topic, but it is amusing. But that was the other story from Benny McCarthy, was that there was one game, wasn't there, where Paul Robinson covered more distance than Benny McCarthy did just by running around in his box when there wasn't anything to do.
I'll go a little bit more off-piste. I was 37 playing at Luton and we drew Liverpool in the FA Cup and I was gone. My legs were absolutely physically gone. It was my last season. And Kevin Blackwell, the manager, said, can you do me a job tonight? And I went, go on. He went, can you play centre-half against Fernando Torres? I've gone, you're what? I'm 37 against Torres, quickest player ever. And he went, you know the game. He went, you know the game. Just defend deep. I've no spaces for him to run in behind. Had an unbelievable game. He never got a kick. Steven Gerrard scored 3 from midfield, though. That was 5-0.
Don Hutchison, Ian Dennis at Stamford Bridge, Guillaume Balaguer there as well. Chelsea Real Madrid gets underway at 8 o'clock. Full commentary here on 5 Live. Let's just look elsewhere today. Manchester United's postponed Premier League match with Liverpool at Old Trafford has been rearranged for next Thursday night. So that means that United will have to play 3 times in 5 days next week. So that's Roma away tomorrow, Villa away on May the 9th, Leicester at home May the 11th, Liverpool at home May the 13th, Fulham at home May the 18th. That is the run United now have. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spoken for the first time today since the game at Old Trafford was postponed because of the fans protesting.
We have to listen. We have to hear the fans' voice. It's everyone's right to protest. It has to be in a civilized manner, though. It has to be in a peaceful manner. And unfortunately, when you break in, when police officers get injured, scarred for life, that's one step too far. But you don't really need to be a rocket scientist to see that we have challenges and frictions and things that have to be dealt with. We know, as I've said, as a club, we need to communicate better. And I've been communicating with the owners. I've got an apology personally. They've apologised. It is a difficult position to be in for me, this. I've always had a good relationship and they listen to me. And they do listen to the fans. And of course, I'm hopeful that in time we can unite and come together. Because frictions and challenges, sometimes that's good. Sometimes it can move things forward, and I understand fans want to see results and trophies. We're hoping that they can see this team is going places, it's moving forward, and hopefully we can get to a final tomorrow. That's the short-term fix, is to get to a final, and then we'll have to take it from there again.
He said it himself there, Ian. He's in a horrible position.
He is, yeah. I mean, I would imagine as well that Mikel Arteta is in a similar situation, in that he'll be asked questions about, ahead of his semi-final tomorrow, about the owners, but particularly in light of what happened and the protest going, that step too far with the clashes with the police. Because at the end of the day, the manager has got to try and strike that balance to appease the supporters, speak honestly, but also not upset his paymasters.
Thought he actually spoke well there, Don.
He did. Well, he's caught, isn't he? Because obviously he wants to look after the fans that support his football club. At the same time, in his heart of hearts, he knew what he was seeing was completely wrong, and I totally agree with him. Once you trespass and cause bodily harm and you start fighting with the police, and some videos that I've seen have been shocking, it just goes everything against what I think the Man United fans are trying to achieve. And I think the wider angle of it is, I think the hardcore Man United fans would be thinking, that's not really us. I think that was an element of fans who just jumped on the bandwagon, and in the end, I didn't think it done the club. I think it done the club more harm actually than good.
I would think though, Mark, that having listened to Andy Mitten with you on Match of the Day 2 on Sunday night, when Solskjaer's talking about, I've been communicating with the owners and I've had a personal apology, judging by what I've heard from Manchester United supporters, whilst the manager is saying, I know they've started communications with other than me, I think the supporters would actually want the ownership of Manchester United to start communicating more with them, because I think that is part of their frustration.
And it will be, just a final one here, Don, it will be Solskjaer and his team that in some way suffer from all of this, given now that fixture list of May the 9th, May the 11th, May the 13th, May the 18th.
That is tough. The good thing going for them is obviously they're going to be in a Europa League final, so they can try and rest one or two for the Premier League games. Their top four's probably done, I would imagine. I think that's probably going to happen in the coming games. They're going to finish in the top four, so I think it's just been circumstance this season for a lot of clubs to try and cram the games in. And yes, it'll be a bit of a blow for Ollie when he looks at it, but at the same time, if he's clever and he's got a very good squad to work with, I think he'll manage.
If Manchester City, though, don't win the title this weekend against Chelsea, Manchester United will play 3 more times before City are next in action at Newcastle on the Friday.
Meanwhile, the Premier League has said that only home fans will be able to attend the final 2 matches of the season. Up to 10,000 supporters are set to be allowed into stadia for the last 2 rounds of fixtures, but the Premier League has confirmed that will not include away fans. 8 England cricketers have returned to the UK after the IPL was suspended, with India's coronavirus situation worsening. Jos Buttler, Jason Roy, Sam Curran are among those who've flown back to begin a 10-day quarantine in government-approved hotels. The Lions squad to tour South Africa is announced tomorrow, so we'll talk to our rugby union correspondent Chris Jones at half-time to try and find out who is going. Let's talk Zinedine Zidane next with Don and Ian and Guillaume Balaguer. One of only 3 managers with 3 European Cups or Champions League trophies to his name. Only person to win 3 titles in a row. Guillaume, if he lost his job as Real Madrid manager, would there be a queue of suitors both in Spain and on the continent for him?
To get him, I think next it will be the national side, perhaps France. I can tell you that even though it looked around January that Real Madrid were considering that possibility that he is going to stay next season. So, but in terms of what he's, how he's perceived in Europe, there has been for a long while the sense that he's a little bit lucky. It doesn't work at the tactical changes that he makes. 5 different formations that he used this season. Has he really trained them? Not really. But he has been this season the most interventionist that he's ever been. Not only because of those change of formations, the injuries. COVID situation has meant that he's had to improvise a lot of things during games, but tweaks in games do change games for him. And it was shown in the first leg. I did say that Kroos and Modric were asked to be closer to the centre-backs, building from the back and being much more solid. That was his idea. Obviously, that was his decision. And you see many more and more of these things, which suggest that he's not saying he's never going to be a Pep Guardiola or anything like that, but that he's not just a lucky manager that chooses 11 players that are so good that always save him. There is much more to him than that. Otherwise, how do you explain that, in 12 knockout rounds that he's played in the Champions League, 12, right? He's gone through in 11. That has to be more than just players.
It does, doesn't it, Don?
It does. He's a good manager, and I think the romantic side of me is if he ever decides to leave Real Madrid or they move him on, I think Juventus might come calling the season that Andrea Pirlo's had. I think that might be a good fit for him. I'm not sure financially if Juve got the sort of money to look after Zidane. He seems quite comfortable and he's got a brilliant squad to work with, but at some point I think they're going to need, fresh players in there. Fede Valverde, I've seen, 18 months, 2 years ago, and it's a shame that he's had injuries because I've seen him for 2 or 3 games and I thought this kid's going to be an absolute genius and he might still go on to be. So there's only so much time you can go with Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, exceptional players, but they're getting to an age now where I think if you're Zidane, they might need replacing in the next year or two.
I mean, if he lost his Real Madrid job, does he have the inclination, Guillaume, to want to go and manage elsewhere?
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah, he will answer something like that. Yeah, I could just do something else. But he's not one motivated by a long career in management. Definitely not. Good point about Juventus. Absolutely right. They like him there and he flirts with that possibility. I think Juventus at some point, the national side at some point. But that's it. I mean, he didn't need to come back to Real Madrid. Florentino Perez asked him almost as a favour, as the team wasn't really maximising the potential they had. But he came, and this is the thing that made Real Madrid think. He came with the idea in the second term with, all right, we cannot beat PSG and Manchester City in the market, but we've got these youngsters like the Rodrigo and Vinicius, Valverde, Militao. Would you start kind of making a transition? Yeah, I can do that. But he hasn't really. Yes, with Militao, but forced by injuries. Vinicius has been in and out, but had lost a lot of confidence, and it was down to the fact that the manager didn't trust him. All the players like Odegaard or Jovic, they're out. Ceballos, they're out of the team, and they're not sure if they're going to come back. Bale was never rescued. So there's a lot of things that in which he hasn't fulfilled the wish of the club. But in January, it was all about saving the season. And look at them. They're 2 points away from Atletico Madrid in the league with 4 games to go. And, today you could make it to the final. I know they're not favourites, but they could.
The other thing that's incredibly maybe for some people may not be, but I think is incredibly likeable about him, Dom, in that we're in an era where management appears to absolutely consume the people who are in that role of manager or head coach, and they go through, every kind of emotion in the 90 minutes that they're on the touchline, and it consumes every minute of every hour of every day, even when they are at home, as you find out when you interview managers and what they go through after a defeat. Zidane seems very laid back by it all. I mean, this quote from January 2020. Yeah, I accept I may be lucky. I've been fortunate in life. I have to be grateful and work for this. But if you think I'm lucky, then that's fine. It isn't a problem.
He's all right. He's just cracking on at one of the biggest clubs in the world, and I like that in him. There's no drama. There's no panic. That's his character. Listen, it takes all to be a manager. I mean, Zidane might not be the type that wants to, think about football every second of the day. Some managers, just can't help but think about football, and it drives them absolutely crazy. I guess with Zinedine Zidane, I think he might have other things going on. Family life might be more important, which is probably the case. But I think he still loves being a manager of Real Madrid. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world.
If he makes it, though, tonight, Mark, and they progress to another final from 4 semi-finals, that would actually equal the record with Sir Alex Ferguson, Carlo Ancelotti and Marcello Lippi. So the company's not bad for somebody who's a lucky manager, is it?
Not bad at all. Let's switch it back to Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel was asked in his press conference if the Champions League is the holy grail for the club.
I never felt like that this competition is our holy grail since I arrived. It is a competition. What I felt when I came to the club, that it's a very competitive club, that it is about winning in this club, and this sharpens the atmosphere, and this has a huge impact on the atmosphere here around in Cobham, in the club, in training ground. It does something to you and you instantly feel it. But just more in the way that we are very, very competitive, and the club is very competitive and very serious about any competition and about any game. This is what I like a lot. I never felt it that we have here a holy grail to reach, and that anybody that winning the Champions League is the very most important, maybe the only target that really counts. And the opposite, I have the strong feeling that any win counts, and that we demand, and the club demands of his team, and we, from me as a coach, that we win any game, no matter who's on the other side of the pitch, and that we arrive in games and in no matter in which competition, ready to win and ready to deliver performance. And this is what sharpens a certain mentality. And we know ourselves how hard it is to arrive in semi-final, and you can be very sure that we will give everything to make it through final.
Probably, Don, you would say winning it in 2012 takes away the obsession with it, and actually that might help Tuchel himself, given that he's been at a club where all the obsession was about it.
Yeah, I guess when he says it's not the Holy Grail, I guess he's not really had time to think about it as being the Holy Grail. He's only been here for, 23 games, and his remit before he got brought into the football club was to finish in the Champions League. He never really felt, I would imagine, if you ask him on the first day he took over, can you get to a Champions League semi-final, potential final, he would have thought, I'm not even thinking of that. I've got more important things to try and do. I've got to try and get Chelsea winning again. I've got to be competitive as a manager. I've got to keep clean sheets. I've got to get us in the back four and top four, and getting closer to the likes of Man City next season. But the fact that he's in a semi, he might change what he's saying in a couple of weeks' time if they go through tonight. Then he'll be thinking, this is an unbelievable opportunity. Because I think if you're Man City watching on tonight and you're a Man City fan, I've heard some of them on TV today say they want Real Madrid to win this. They don't want to play Chelsea in the final, because City think they've got more chance of beating Real Madrid than Chelsea.
But also, as we all know, the last thing you want to do is get to a European final and then lose it to an English team. That is, it's less painful if you lose it to a European team, surely.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, and I think Liverpool fans were feeling that a couple of years back when they had Tottenham in the final, and Liverpool were always destined to win that game when Harry Kane didn't play for about 2 or 3 months. But they were scared stiff of Tottenham beating them, because they thought, well, we'll never live this down. If you get knocked out by Real Madrid,
you'll never hear the last of it. You'll hear it both times you play during the season in the league.
Absolutely.
Any other cup ties, all of that, you will never hear the end of it.
That's why Man City want Real Madrid. If they are going to lose, they'll save a little bit of face if they lost against Real Madrid in the final. So they'll be pushing for a Real Madrid win, but I hope Chelsea get there. I really do. I think it would be amazing to have potentially 2 teams in the Europa League final and the Champions League final.
And the way fans think about it, whilst Chelsea fans will be gutted if they lose tonight, the positive spin you put on it is, well, at least it means we don't get beaten by Manchester City. Well, that's how we work. That's how all fans work.
Of course it is. They'll try and take something out of that Chelsea. If they lost tonight against Real Madrid, they'll probably want Real Madrid to go and win it. So I see we got beat by the champions.
Has Tuchel surprised either of you with how he has managed Chelsea since he's been here? Not me, Mark. I've been commentating on European football for quite a while now, and I've followed him since his Dortmund days, and I was lucky enough to be in quite a few of his press conferences, and speaking to German journalists, they were always convinced he was going right to the very top. You could see it in his methods, you could see it in the way he carried himself, how he thought about the game. He's a little bit left field. Journalists were telling me when they've interviewed him 1v1, he'll come up with some crazy system where he'll have 1 defender and 9 centre forwards, and he'll try and do something a little bit bonkers, because that's the way he thinks about the game. He thinks about it completely different. And the work that he's done, I think, since he's come into Chelsea by drilling that back line and working them on a day-to-day basis and keeping the amount of clean sheets that he's got, and then I think next season we'll see them better going forward.
I was of the opinion that Frank Lampard should have been given more time.
The same.
But you then look at what he's done now, and you think that they're in this position. They are where they are in terms of finishing in the top 4. You look at the defensive record that he's brought, and I think even maybe those supporters who were against his appointment and the way that Frank Lampard, maybe even those Chelsea supporters now have had to have a rethink.
It was raw, wasn't it? It was very raw when Frank went. It was raw because every Chelsea fan obviously wanted him to do well, and I wanted him to do well as well. and it was raw the way he left. And you've seen some of the games that sort of, you know, the West Brom 3-3, it wasn't Chelsea, it wasn't really what Frank would have wanted, so they were a little bit off the cuff sometimes, if you like. And I think, you know, apart from the crazy result against West Brom 5-2 a couple of weeks back, that's not really Thomas Tuchel's way.
No.
You know, Frank needed a bit more time, and I don't think, in my humble opinion, I don't think some of the older pros helped Frank. I think he had a job to do, and he's bringing so many young players in, and when you do that with the likes of maybe Rudiger, maybe Jorginho, maybe Alonso, you upset the balance in the dressing room, and sometimes you can lose the dressing room. I don't think Frank lost the dressing room, but what I mean is, if you've got pros and big names, they are not sometimes helpful behind the scenes. I don't think they really helped Frank, if I'm honest.
Easy to forget, Chelsea wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for Frank Lampard. That transition season last season, and the fact that he was still able to deliver Champions League football, and maybe in the end, guilty of overachieving, could have been proving his downfall.
Is, from what you see or what you've heard in the past when he's coached in other countries, Don, is he relaxed behind the scenes? Obviously, I mean, he'll drill his team and be tactically very disciplined. But for example, at Chelsea, he spoke in his press conference about how he lets the players stay at home rather than in a team hotel the night before a game, so that they spend more time with their families, which seems like common sense to me, but it's quite rare in football. Is he quite relaxed?
I think he is. I think he's quite demanding. He's one of these managers, I think, when he puts a tracksuit on, he's ultra demanding. And the work ethic, I think the players will know, you know, once they step onto the training ground and once they step onto the field, you know, they're at work. But I think there's a side of him, there's a human side of him at the same time, where they'll say, right, very relaxed. You know, you can have a little bit of downtime at the same time. I look after you, do the right things. And he'll get on board with that. But as far as managers goes, I think he tests these players well. I think he really does test these players in training in different formations.
Final one, Guillaume, before we let you go, and we'll talk again at half-time. I mean, Paris Saint-Germain started last night's game as if, you know, there was only 10 minutes to go and they needed 3 goals, you know, and they were flying forward. Do Real Madrid begin tonight a bit more cautiously?
Yeah, this is absolutely crucial that they actually take the game to where they want to, which is like, can we just calm down and just pass the ball a little bit and make that not many things happen and make sure that we're all compact and together. And I think Ramos will remind everyone of that, because as we said earlier, he doesn't want to be exposed. If it doesn't go this way, remember the first 25 minutes in the first leg, it could just be game over within that period. They will want to control it, and yes, you were talking about Tuchel. One of the successes of him is actually he's doing what he's doing without fully still knowing his side. I spoke to him after the Porto game, the first leg, and he was saying, these guys, they've never been in this stage in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Well, they've never been in the semi-finals either. And he said that they were at some point afraid, at some point conservative, at some point they didn't want to risk, they weren't brave enough. So he's got a big thing about the mind of players, obviously, and I think he's got question marks about his own, because he doesn't know them well. So he's got to discover what they're made of today against a side that mentally they have to be the strongest in Europe.
Talk at half-time, Guillaume. Thank you very much. And Don, a final one on Chelsea. I mean, Pep Guardiola constantly talked about not wanting Manchester City to be shy. Is that the same for Chelsea tonight?
I think so. I think they'll be measured. I don't think Chelsea will come out very early on and take the game to Real Madrid. I think they'll be quite cautious. I think it feels like a chess match. I think if you said to Zidane now, would you take half-time 0-0? I think he would take it and try and feel his way into creating more chances potentially in the second half. But Chelsea, if I'm Thomas Tuchel, I'm telling my side to try and get the first goal in the game as quick as possible.
OK, for the next 45 minutes of what we hope is commentary rather than thinking out loud, here's Ian Dent.
Thank you, Mark. The two teams are down, lining up, as you can hear the familiar anthem for the Champions League, for what could be just as captivating as it was an absorbing first meeting just over a week ago in Madrid. We had rain that night, we've had rain this evening in West London. There've also been the flares and the welcome of the supporters, not too dissimilar to the scenes at the Etihad last night to greet the team coaches as they arrived here at Stamford Bridge. And in case you missed it, I'll give you a reminder of the team news. One change for Chelsea from that first leg, and that is Havertz for Pulisic. So Mendy is in goal. It's a back three of Rudiger, Christensen, Thiago Silva, the wing-backs Azpilicueta and Chilwell, Jorginho and Kante in the centre of midfield with Mason Mount, Havertz and Werner. And as for Real Madrid, 3 changes from the first leg. Coming back into the side, Hazard, Ramos and Mendy. For Marcelo, Carvajal and Varane, the latter 2 who are injured. So Courtois, former Chelsea goalkeeper, is once again in goal for Real Madrid. Nacho will play at right back. Sergio Ramos and Militao, the 2 central defenders. Ferland Mendy at left back, the 3 in midfield. Modric, Casemiro and Toni Kroos. And Eden Hazard, Karim Benzema and Vinicius for Real Madrid. And it promises to be, it could be, just such a captivating game. I'm looking forward to it so much.
Can't wait for it. I think it's just going to be a cracking game, whether it's cagey or not. I think the tactics are going to be very important. There's too many good players on show not to produce a good game tonight, and it's going to be fascinating which way in the balance the game swings.
Well, the referee is Daniel Orsato from Italy, and Manchester City, of course, lie in wait. Still, UEFA are saying that the game will be played in Istanbul, despite the fact it could be an all-English affair, despite the fact that there are strict coronavirus measures in Istanbul, despite the calls for it to be moved to the UK. So, as it stands, May the 29th, the final in Istanbul, and Manchester City, of course, have already booked their place. Could we be looking forward to another all-English affair? What have you spotted, Don?
I think, well, we're looking at Eden Hazard taking the kick-off with Karim Benzema, but the way Real Madrid have potentially lined up, it might be 3 at the back again.
So that would be Militao, Ramos and Nacho.
Ferland Mendy left and Vinicius Junior on the right.
On the right, yeah. Well, Guillaume talked about how he's changed things around Zinedine Zidane, but at kick-off, Don Hutchison, the former Scottish international, who's with us here as we're underway. The second leg of this Champions League semi-final. Real Madrid playing from left to right as we look, in their white shirts, white shorts and black socks, against Chelsea in their royal blue shirts and shorts and white socks. And if he wasn't a football manager, Thomas Tuchel could easily be a laundry worker, because he prides himself on clean sheets, and he knows one more clean sheet tonight, regardless whether they win or draw, Chelsea will be through. And that really is the message, isn't it? Bearing in mind he's got 17 clean sheets in his 23 games.
And why wouldn't you have confidence if you're a Chelsea player, and if the manager demands a clean sheet tonight and even a 0-0 draw, you believe in Thomas Tuchel because he's produced it, his players have produced it. It wouldn't be bad for Chelsea, but that would also bring a lot of drama into the game.
It would. They have the advantage courtesy of that away goal last week. It was probably a more open game in the first half than many would have anticipated, and the second half, in contrast, was a much more cautious and cagey affair, as the ball is scooped forward by Militao and it drifts out of play and out for a throw. But Mendy in goal for Chelsea, Rudiger, Christensen, Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, Jorginho, Kante, Chilwell, Mount, Werner and Havertz, as Mendy plays the ball out from the back. And here is Kante, who was absolutely terrific last week in that first leg. Ball played to Rudiger. He's actually wearing a face mask. He picked up that facial injury in Madrid, missed the game against Fulham. Thiago Silva, they made a number of changes for that West London derby, but once again 5 changes it was for the Premier League game at the weekend, just the one from the first leg. And Chelsea coming forward now, and it's with Mason Mount, Chilwell, Rudiger over the halfway line, and then he waits and very patiently passes the ball to Chilwell, chipping it forward towards Timo Werner, gets round the back, offside though, flags up on the far side.
Well, I wonder if that was a little bit of kidology from Real Madrid from the kick-off, starting with a 3, because I think they've gone back to a 4, but Militao playing at right back, Sergio Ramos, Nacho and Ferland Mendy at left back. They might interchange that, but it looks like they've gone back to a 4.
Courtois, 154 appearances during his time at Stamford Bridge before he left in 2018. Militao back with Sergio Ramos, making his first appearance since international duty. He's missed the last 9 games with a calf injury, but we saw him. He was the cheerleader-in-chief last week in Madrid. He was extremely vocal from the stands. He was down in the tunnel beforehand. His presence alone. I get what Guillem's saying about, you know, the fact that he hasn't played, and they do have a number of fitness issues regarding this Real Madrid side, but it's bound to give you a lift when you've got somebody with the experience of Sergio Ramos at the heart of that defence.
It will, absolutely it will, and it just depends on how long he can last. Normally when you've come back from an injury and you haven't played, you can get through a 90-minute game. Adrenaline will completely take over. It's the games after where you tend to struggle.
Rudiger back with Mendy. You can almost, it is so tight already, you can feel the tension, only 4 minutes in.
The only player that's got a little bit of space for Chelsea is Mason Mount. He's playing a lot higher up the pitch than I thought he was going to play in a 3. So it's going to be after either Casemiro might need to take care of him, but completely free at the moment for Chelsea.
Well, the referee, the Italian official, might just have a word here with the Dane, Andreas Christensen. He just dived in and I think he caught Hazard, who's back on his feet. Hazard, who played 72 minutes against Osasuna. He had that run out as a substitute last week, didn't really do a great deal, but he's missed so many games. 53 matches he's missed since he left Stamford Bridge. Of course, he arrived at Stamford Bridge when Chelsea were champions of Europe, but he left in pursuit of that dream. Now he stands in the way of his former side as Real Madrid, with the free kick headed away by Thiago Silva, almost breaks towards Timo Werner, and then Real Madrid will just have to deal with this. And it was Vinicius who was running back into his own half, and he managed to dodge both Mount and Werner, and back then to Courtois in a luminous orange goalkeeping outfit away towards our left-hand side, looking towards Eden Hazard, and the ball is put out of play by Thiago Silva, and it'll be a Real Madrid throw on that far side.
It was a nice little run there from Eden Hazard, just spun down the sides of the Chelsea 3 centre-backs. Good ball from Luka Modric outside of the right foot.
The rain in London pre-match was of biblical proportions. Now we've got a shaft of sunlight coming through a gap of the roof behind the Matthew Harding stand away towards our right-hand side. At first I actually thought it was one of the lights from the TV companies just to my right-hand side. It's then I looked and it was actually the sunshine, but the pitch as a result of that rain will just have a nice sip, a nice feel to it, I'm sure, Don.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the type of pitch you want to play on. Nice little bit of rain beforehand, just slickening the surface. Those sets of players will fancy this.
Militao back to Sergio Ramos, chips the ball out towards that far side, just reared up a little bit to Nacho, who may have been caught there by Havertz, and he's writhing around. So once again, it does look like they've gone to the 3, doesn't it? Nacho to the left and Militao to the right.
Just keep an eye on that, because Toni Kroos is dropping ever so deep to just try and split the centre-backs and get on the ball.
Well, Nacho is down. He's featured in 18 of the last 19 games as the Spanish international. And at the minute, he's holding his calf after that challenge from Kai Havertz on his right leg. He's now on his knees. Looks like he'll be able to continue, but it's nowhere near the pace and the intensity that we witnessed in the first half of the first leg.
Yeah, I didn't expect anything different, to be honest. I thought that the opening part of the game, especially in the semi-final second leg, you don't want to make any mistakes. So players will be tidy on the ball. They won't deviate from their positions. It's only when the game gets a little bit more stretched you might see some drama. But I think very early on, first 20 minutes, you want a clean sheet. You want to make no mistakes whatsoever.
Vinicius has lost the ball. Timo Werner now comes forward. Werner shifts it on the outside, comes forward, and it's scooped up by Courtois. And in the end, he just ran out of space and options. But you talk about mistakes. I think Vinicius maybe was looking for a foul, but it wasn't given. but we haven't really had. Well, that's probably the first opening that we've had in these opening 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, he must be growing in confidence, Timo Werner. He was exceptional against Fulham at the weekend. Played really well.
You look at his record, though, 11 goals, and I think people judge him for his goals, but he's also had 10 assists, and he's the first Chelsea player to reach double figures in both of those columns since Eden Hazard in the season when he first arrived in 2012. So if Timo Werner can build on that, and when you consider that Hazard went on to be Chelsea's Player of the Year 4 times, 110 goals and 121 assists during his time at Stamford Bridge, then there's certainly room for Werner to prosper.
Yeah, I think you'll see a better version of Timo Werner next season.
0-0 on the night, 1-1 on aggregate. It's the Champions League, and it's live on BBC Radio 5 Live, and tomorrow we'll be at the Emirates for the Europa League semi-final, Arsenal against Villarreal. Manchester United, of course, 6-2, handsome victory at Old Trafford. Arsenal have to turn around a 2-1 deficit from Spain last week. Here is Modric, never won at Stamford Bridge during his Tottenham career. Kroos, Nacho now comes forward. Up towards that far side is Mendy, taken over now by Hazard, and Hazard is edging his way towards the penalty area. Ball is played back to Eden Hazard.
Started well. Real Madrid have started very well.
Here is Modric. So much quality, so much experience in this Real Madrid side. Vinicius on the right, coming in field. Finds Casemiro. Back with Modric, just waiting outside. Forward ball. Hazard lets it run through his legs. Benzema back inside to Hazard. Short forward ball. Benzema. Kroos. Militao's getting up from the back, then they play it back. Chelsea have everybody back inside their own half. Militao midway through the Chelsea half. They're keeping the ball very, very well, Real Madrid. Modric turns away from Werner and then plays the ball out towards Mendy, who heads it back inside to Kroos, passing the ball around nicely.
Can't get the ball, Chelsea. This has been a very bright start from Real Madrid. Their passing's been really slick.
Very, very crisp from Real Madrid. Modric, Kroos from distance, but it was easily saved by Edouard Mendy. Must have been at least 30 yards out, maybe even more, right-footed, and Mendy had clear sight of it on its way through as they try and play out from the back. Jorginho, high press though from Real Madrid. Confident start from the 13 times winners of Europeans elite competition. Werner's first touch is to try and turn it round the corner and beat Nacho in the foot chase, but Nacho is there, tidies it up back towards Courtois. But it's a short opening 11 minutes from Real Madrid.
It really is. They're moving the ball well. That would have been 20-odd passes they kept that before they took the shot from distance from Toni Kroos. Chelsea just having a slight problem with the rotation of Luka Modric and Casemiro in midfield.
Here is Casemiro coming under pressure from Jorginho, who just did enough to break it up, but then Benzema running back takes it away off his toes and helps win it back for Real Madrid. Still 0-0 on the night. 11 minutes played here at Stamford Bridge. Ball breaks down, breaks then to Werner. Werner running forward, Timo Werner on the outside. He pushes Havertz a little bit further wide than he would have liked on that right-hand side. He runs back, he's level with the penalty area. Kante plays it back, Jorginho midway through the Real half, and Rudiger lets one fly and beaten away by Courtois. That must have really moved in the air. He was about, 10 yards forward of the centre circle, and he let one rip with his right foot, and now Chelsea are attacking with Chilwell, left-hand side. To Mason Mount, coming forward. Mason Mount enters the penalty area. He goes on the outside. Mason Mount denied by the legs of Courtois at his near post in front of Timo Werner, and all of a sudden it's Chelsea's turn to threaten.
Brilliant work that from Mason Mount. He got inside the 18-yard box and he stood Militao up 1v1. Awful defending from Militao. He wasn't side on, he was square on, which made the job for Mason Mount a lot easier to take him on. Got to the byline, just couldn't produce that ball into the 6-yard box for a Timo Werner tap-in.
Free kick. Chilwell has been fouled. And as for the effort from Rudiger, I haven't had a chance to see it again. But
some bit, wasn't it?
It was. But Judging the way that Courtois just beat it away, must have moved in the air. But this is a free kick that could cause Real Madrid some problems for Chelsea. About 10 yards in from the left touch line. They're playing from right to left. Royal blue shirts and shorts, white socks. Chilwell with the outswinger, or Mason Mount with the in-swinger from the Chelsea left touch line. Two in the wall for the Spanish side. Courtois waits, he's poised inside his 6-yard area. It's 0-0, 13 minutes played. 76 ball possession so far for Real Madrid. That's an indication of how much they've dominated. Chilwell it is with the outswinger towards the far post, headed away well under pressure from Casemiro. Picked up by Azpilicueta, the Chelsea captain. Jorginho, right-footed, flat ball in, cleared by Modric. Benzema now looking towards Hazard. He was just clipped there by Jorginho, and that'll be a yellow card.
Feels like a really open game all of a sudden. Last 5 minutes, Real Madrid have been happy to keep hold of the ball, but when Chelsea go forward, there's a genuine threat. There was half a chance in a moment lost for Chelsea when Timo Werner was breaking through, and it was 3v3, and he played a really loose pass to Kai Havertz. He played it in front of him instead of to the German's feet, and he would have been 1v1 with the defender.
That's the voice of Don Hutchison on BBC Radio 5 Live as Hazard, told he was very, very sharp at the weekend in that 72-minute run out against Osasuna in a 2-0 victory that keeps alive their hopes of retaining La Liga. They're 2 points behind Atletico Madrid, and indeed the top four play each other this weekend. Barcelona against Atletico Madrid, and Real are at home to Sevilla on Sunday, who are just a little bit further back in fourth. This is the Champions League, of course. It's tight and it's tense. 15 minutes played, and it's 0-0 on the night.
Yeah, I think the battle's coming, which is a poker game between either sets of wing-backs. Ben Chilwell and Azpilicueta are getting pinned back by Ferland Mendy, and especially Vinicius Junior. They're not getting too much of the ball, and then once Chelsea break forward, their wing-backs hit high up the pitch, which push the Real Madrid wing-backs back a little bit deeper.
Here is Chilwell getting forward, finds Mason Mount. Mason Mount loses out in that challenge to Vinicius. Keeps the ball in play, tries to come forward, but then loses it, gives it away to Chilwell. Chelsea have the ball back, stroked inside. Havertz coming forward now, drifting out towards the right touchline over on that far side as they attack the shed end here at Stamford Bridge. Jorginho plays it back. Christensen across to Rudiger, controls the ball with his left thigh, comes forward, plays out Chilwell, coming in off the left touchline, level with the penalty area. Timo Werner inside the penalty area, fires the ball in low, cleared away well under pressure. That was from Nacho as the referee has blown his whistle.
Brilliant defending that from Nacho. Kai Havertz just coming in around the back. Good work from Timo Werner. He flashes that across the 6-yard box. There must have been a foul in there. Didn't quite see it in real time. It was brilliant defending from Nacho.
And there isn't much in terms of chances so far. It could be that sort of game. It might just be the one goal. You wouldn't be surprised if we went the whole hog, extra time and penalties, but of course for that to happen it would have to be 1-1 at the end of 90 minutes. Real Madrid know just one goal may well be sufficient as they seek a fifth final in 8 years. Sergio Ramos collecting the ball from Courtois, playing the ball to Militao, short of the halfway line. Modric turns, quickly he's closed down by Jorginho, but he spreads it out towards Toni Kroos, and Kroos can come forward now. Mendy's ahead of him, coming in off the left touchline. He finds Modric, bit of space. Modric coming forward now. Modric will shoot, and again it's low and straight at the goalkeeper, but another effort from Real Madrid, but again Mendy well positioned.
Yeah, difficult to try and beat Mendy from there. He's not really got the shooting power, Luka Modric, but what a ball is sprayed with the outside of his right foot.
He did score one goal against Chelsea in his Tottenham career, but overall wasn't. He only had the 2 victories out of his 8 meetings when he played. against Chelsea for Tottenham Hotspur. The sit might open up here for Chelsea, and Chilwell finds Timo Werner, and Timo Werner puts the ball in the back of the net, but then the flag is raised. It will go to VAR, but the late flag and Timo Werner's goal may well be ruled out.
Well, that was ever so tight. He shouldn't be offside, Timo Werner. He shouldn't be sprinting in the 18-yard box and being offside. He needs to try and put the brakes on.
He is offside.
Just offside. Got to work harder there, especially with VAR. Werner's got to work a little bit harder to stay onside, because he still would have tapped it in the net if he gave himself a yard.
So Chelsea's joy was short-lived once the German had looked to his right to see that flag raised, and it was the correct decision. It was the briefest of checks to rule it out. And after 18 minutes on BBC Radio 5 Live, and we're also live on BBC London, Radio London this evening too, for our commentary here from inside Stamford Bridge. It remains Chelsea 0, Real Madrid 0, and it's still 1-1 on aggregate. As we get a glimpse of Thomas Tuchel down below in his navy blue padded jacket, because despite the sunshine there is a little bit of a chill in the air.
Yeah, I think he wants his Chelsea side a little bit higher up the pitch, especially the wing-backs. See where Rudiger's gone now. Rudiger stepped right into midfield against Luka Modric. That's dangerous.
Militao coming forward. He's holding off Mason Mount. He's made good ground. Vinicius, but then he was actually checked by Mason Mount, and he wasn't able to get to the return ball from Vinicius. And Chelsea will defend and get the ball back. And Jorginho to Kante, sweeps it first time, and under pressure he's put it out of play over past Azpilicueta and out for a Real Madrid throw on that left-hand side.
Yeah, Chelsea just need to dig in for a couple of minutes. I'm not saying Real Madrid are dominating them, but they're handling the ball a lot better. I don't know why Antonio Rudiger decided to leave his centre-back position and go right into midfield against Luka Modric.
Ball out towards Nacho. First time ball, then he'll get it back, and Werner was sniffing around. Nacho back to Courtois. Forward to Ramos. Once again, Nacho's gone very wide on the far side, the left. Militao, the near side, the right. Means that the wing-backs can push on, such as Mendy, who then forces Christensen to head the ball out of play for a throw.
Antonio Rudiger's got a problem, because he wants to mark Luka Modric, because Luka Modric is free in the midfield, so he's got to have the conversation with Mason Mount to drop a little bit deeper.
So that is something for Chelsea, because at the minute, as the throw comes forward towards Timo Werner, they didn't have this scenario last week, did they? Because they matched Chelsea up.
Which I thought they'd done the same. I'm a little bit surprised that Mason Mount's playing further forward, because it plays into Real Madrid's hands. You know, they've got Casemiro in there, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, three really good footballers.
Zidane is ushering Vinicius, who's the right wing back, just to keep going forward. It was Chilwell and Vinicius just squaring up to each other. There was a little push and a shove there, as Real Madrid can come forward, and Nacho.
I can't believe the room that Luka Modric has got.
Here is Kroos. That'll be cut out by Chilwell, and then he's overrun it to Militao. Modric, they'll play the ball then towards Vinicius, and there was Rudiger sensing the danger and covering for Chilwell, and then berating his left wing back as he puts the ball out of play for a throw.
Yeah, they're worried. Chelsea are worried they can't get a handle on Real Madrid's system so far. They can't get a handle on Chelsea playing two in midfield against Real Madrid's three. There's a little bit of panic back there for Chelsea.
The Italian referee Daniel Orsato is just having a word now with Chilwell and Vinicius, just telling them to cut it out, as Vinicius with the cross. No foul, as it was Hazard who'd gone to ground, picked up by Modric. He crosses the ball, cleared by Thiago Silva. Chelsea are deep. Jorginho is trying to encourage Chilwell at the minute. He's clapping, and the ball is out with a Real Madrid throw on this right-hand side.
They fancy this, Real Madrid. They're in the mood. They've had a good start to the game.
Rudiger's clearance. Timo Werner can't get there. But it's still 0-0. Casemiro finds Modric again, able to turn. Vinicius. Ball in towards Hazard, into the penalty area. Right-hand side, takes it out of the box to Vinicius, back inside the penalty area, dancing around the ball, goes for a ball towards the far post. Benzema stumbles, falls to the floor under no challenge, and it goes out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, solid defending there from Azpilicueta, just leans into the back of Karim Benzema. Vinicius Junior just trying to float one to the far post, but the room that Luka Modric has got is absolutely incredible. It's something that Thomas Tuchel has to fix. Can't leave him free.
So how does he fix it?
He's got to play Mason Mount a little bit deeper. Chelsea are almost playing with the front three. You see Mason Mount, Kai Havertz and Timo Werner, and the leave and Jorginho and Conte exposed against Real Madrid's three.
They're outnumbering Chelsea in the midfield at the minute. 0-0. Courtois strikes it downfield. Christensen lets the ball bounce and then controls it, and then passes the ball to Rudiger. Rudiger, head down, running forward. Passes the ball to Chilwell on this near side, the left. He'll be closed down by Vinicius. He turns. Vinicius makes the challenge and gets the ball away from Chilwell, and Real Madrid have got it back. And here is Casemiro to Vinicius, back with the Brazilian. Plays it back, Militao, Sergio Ramos. They look the more composed side in possession, Dom.
They do. Well, they've got that extra player in the middle of the park, whether it's Casemiro, who's playing a little bit deep, or Toni Kroos is not going to waste a pass, and especially Luka Modric. He's floating everywhere, Modric, because he realises he's going to be the free man unless Chelsea fix it.
But
and especially in a game where Chelsea don't really need to chase the game, they can take a 0-0.
Yeah,
so they can be a little bit more compact, but they're a bit open.
Mark Chapman said, "Don't think out loud." Me and you were thinking the same now. I was just about to say, you know, the equation is this: Chelsea, this scoreline would be sufficient for Chelsea. The pressure in that sense is on Real Madrid. They have to score. But Modric forward, Benzema's dropped deep on the halfway line, out towards Vinicius, comes on the inside of Chilwell, sticks to his guns, wins the ball and does it well. Jorginho is there, looking for the ball over the top towards Timo Werner. But there was Casemiro running back on the cover, the midfielder, to head the ball away. Mendy coming in field. Sergio Ramos, and now to Militao. Benzema once again. At the minute, it's Chilwell tracking Benzema. Vinicius is the one furthest forward at the moment for Real Madrid. No, there hasn't been too much in terms of goalmouth incident, but in terms of a tactical counter, it is very, very intriguing, as these two sides are still locked at 0-0 on the night here in West London. Hazard, of course, on the ball now against his former side, to Modric, outside of the right boot, carves the ball forward to Benzema, back to Modric once again, forward ball from Modric, laid off by Nacho. Toni Kroos now, Modric once again, pulling the strings for Real Madrid. Now it's with Militao, forward to Modric, looking to turn, back inside, Casemiro joins the attack, Casemiro slides it in low, and then it was Benzema, and that was just wide, and the goalkeeper has made the save to turn it behind for a corner kick. Excellent football from Real Madrid.
Well, Modric is playing like a 21-year-old, the freedom that he's got is incredible, and that was a stunning save from Mendy, brilliant effort from Benzema, was creeping into that bottom right-hand corner, and that's an excellent stop from Mendy.
It's still 0-0. He's kept 23 clean sheets in his 39 appearances. He was fully extended to make sure that he could have another one. Kroos with the corner kick, comes off the head of Casemiro, goes out towards the Chelsea right-hand side. Christensen will bring the ball away. Timo Werner ahead of him. The white shirts, though, were flooding back for Real Madrid. As now it's with Rudiger, just short of the halfway line. And we're approaching the half-hour mark on BBC Radio 5 Live. Rudiger strokes it inside to Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva now to the Dane, Christensen. Now it's with Thiago Silva once more. Very, very patient play from Chelsea. Real Madrid have got everybody back behind the ball. They've dropped off, just waiting for that one opportunity. Be glad just to see something of the ball, Don.
Keep the ball, stay patient. Got to try and find a little bit of rhythm as possible.
Here is N'Golo Kante, nudges the ball to Timo Werner, back towards Kante. He plays in Havertz. Havertz with a chip. It's the crossbar on the follow-up. Timo Werner. And Timo Werner with the easiest of tasks to head the ball in almost on the goal line. That's the goal that Chelsea wanted. Chelsea lead Real Madrid by a goal to nil, and Timo Werner popping up when it matters most.
Brilliant goal from Chelsea, it really was. Massive goal. They were hanging on at times. Real Madrid have started the better of the two sides. Brilliant touch from N'Golo Kanté, and this is where Chelsea and Tuchel want to be. 3v2. It's a brilliant effort from Kai Havertz. He's really unlucky that it wraps the crossbar, but Timo Werner with an absolute tap in from half a yard. Great skill from the German. He's unlucky that it hits the crossbar, and there's no covering defender to stop Timo Werner. Huge goal for Chelsea.
You think of the opportunity that he squandered in the first leg from close range. There was no way that Timo Werner was going to miss that. He could have probably headed it with his eyes closed. It has still put the ball in the back of the net. And after 28 minutes, Chelsea lead Real Madrid by a goal to nil. Now, from a Spanish point of view, it doesn't change anything. They still have to score, which is what they did at the very outset. That would take us, of course, to extra time. But Chelsea 1-0 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate, and at a time when they've come under a lot of pressure in this first half.
Well, it'll sharpen Real Madrid, because they'll be afraid if they lose the next goal in the game, it's going to be a mountain. So they've got to stay in it. They've got to stick to their beliefs and their principles, because early on, passing-wise, they've done well.
And Kanté very much at the heart of it. And I was about to say to you as well that haven't really mentioned his name a great deal, N'Golo Kanté.
Isn't it bizarre as well? We were having the conversation before about him being the best holding midfield player in the world. Well, that's exactly what Sarri, Lampard and Tuchel wants, him getting the ball higher up the pitch, because once he breaks away from his marker, you can't catch him.
So Chelsea are ahead. 5 live, 29 minutes played here at Stamford Bridge. Chilwell gets there before Vinicius. Covering though was Militao, and it was a well-timed challenge as well, just short of the halfway line, as Zinedine Zidane is out in his technical area, a little bit more casual than Thomas Tuchel, who has such an excellent record when he's been in charge against Spanish sides. As the ball is played back to Edouard Mendy, skies it. Here is Modric though. Modric can come forward for Real Madrid. Vinicius. Still the jeopardy remains at the moment, because a goal for Real levels it up and squares the tie, not only on the night, but of course it would mean that we could then have that one scenario that could lead to us to extra time, and maybe a penalty shootout, as Kroos going to have to dust themselves down, Real Madrid. When they conceded first last week, Chelsea were the better side. The Spanish team here have shaded it with Modric pulling the strings. They've dominated in terms of possession, despite the fact that there haven't been the clear-cut openings. They've just had 2 efforts from distance. But Chelsea find themselves in front through Timo Werner. How will Real Madrid respond now?
Well, I don't think they'll panic. They'll try and spend time on the ball, but they must know any mistake and lose the next goal in the game, and that might be costly.
Ramos finds Militao. Back with Ramos once again. Havertz, who was so unlucky with the initial effort, wasn't he, with a chip finish.
Brilliant effort, wasn't it? Yeah. Off the back of a brace at the weekend. His confidence is high.
Here is Mendy, coming forward on that left-hand side. Hit and hoisted away downfield by Christensen. Havertz running into to Ramos, who heads it away. Casemiro finds Hazard. The return from Hazard to Modric. Winning the ball very, very well was Rudiger in the centre circle, and he's motoring forward as Werner plays it inside to Rudiger. Just couldn't get onto the end of it.
That's where he has to tighten up there, Timo Werner. It was 4v3 for Chelsea there. He's got to pick the right pass.
Rudiger now is desperate to get back into position, because he was it was like a man possessed the way he was running forward. Kroos spreads it out towards Mendy. Chelsea lead by a goal to nil on the night, 2-1 on aggregate. And the ball then from Hazard goes away from him, but he actually reacts to it and makes sure he gets to that loose ball before a blue shirt. Now it's with Militao. Militao sends over the cross once again. Zinedine Zidane with a little flick of the right hand was ushering Vinicius forward on this near side, the Real right.
Yeah, he wanted Vinicius Junior on the right hand side, and he wanted Militao to play him the ball a lot sharper. We're just seeing the finish again from Timo Werner. It was an easy one. It was all the work from N'Golo Kanté and Kai Havertz.
And all of a sudden that miss last week everyone's forgotten about it.
Exactly. I think that's where Real Madrid might be able to get a little bit of joy if you Militao just give it to Vinicius Junior a lot quicker, try and get him 1v1 with Ben Chilwell.
Still, the Chelsea supporters, though, will not be able to sit too comfortably because it's very much in the balance, just the one goal in it, as a free kick goes in Chelsea's favour. But if they could get through the next 12 minutes with this scoreline at 1-0, Thomas Tuchel then an opportunity to speak to his players, as once more they're looking to try and churn out yet another clean sheet.
Well, that's when you know it's been a good game. First half's absolutely flying by.
It is. 33 minutes already. Chilwell back to Mason Mount. I think Thomas Tuchel's wanting Chilwell to stay forward on this near side, the left.
Yeah, it's a battle between the wing backs. He wants him to stay high left to try and push Vinicius back.
Which is what you said at the very outset, wasn't it?
Well, if you're more or less playing the same sort of system, you know, it's going to be a battle which wing backs can try and push the other ones back. Bit of a poker game.
Ball hit forward by Christensen. Timo Werner just can't get there. Headed up in the air by Ramos. Havertz puts him under pressure, helped out by Kanté. Italian referee gives the free kick in the favour of Sergio Ramos, who was left on his knees.
It's just an element, though, if Chelsea can get the ball forward to Kai Havertz or Timo Werner, that could put Sergio Ramos under a little bit of pressure.
Here is Modric coming deep, passing the ball out towards the far side for Nacho. Trots over the halfway line, leaves it for Mendy. Along the ground in field, just outside the centre circle to Modric. Spreads it up in the air. Vinicius brings the ball under control, level with the penalty area right hand side, trailing by a goal to 0. Vinicius now towards Kroos, who turns. Nacho joins the attack left hand side. Mendy's ahead of him. Hazard, Modric and Benzema all wait just in and around the penalty area. Chelsea, though, keeping them at bay for the time being. Here is Kroos once again, midway through the Chelsea half. Chelsea lead by a goal to 0, just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. Modric coming forward, chipping the ball in. Benzema with a header! Fabulous save by Mendy! That was a brilliant save, an acrobatic effort, tipping the ball over the crossbar to keep out Benzema and to make sure that Chelsea still lead by a goal to 0.
Well, yet another big save from Mendy. Luka Modric absolutely pulling strings in there for Real Madrid. Benzema would like that one back again. Didn't really fire it in any corner, but really good save from Mendy. He's been excellent for Chelsea.
That was an athletic save from a very agile goalkeeper. Benzema hit a stunning equaliser last week, this time kept out by the Chelsea keeper from a header. Corner is played back, now it's to Modric. Modric to Vinicius, right-hand side, a Chelsea player, Azpilicueta, has gone down inside the penalty area.
Ramos.
And there is Ramos, and all of a sudden tempers are starting to fray and flare. And Ramos, surprise, surprise, is right at the heart of it.
I'm surprised, first of all, that Real Madrid didn't put the corner in the box. There's no surprise Ramos had a little tugging match with Azpilicueta. Something went on just off the ball. Not loads in it. Good spot, though, from the referee.
So Sergio Ramos joins Jorginho in the book. It's just a blatant push, I think, wasn't it, from him on Azpilicueta?
I don't know why Real Madrid didn't put the corner into the 18-yard box. Really surprised they tried to work it short.
Great save, though, wasn't it, from Mendy?
Incredible save. 3 big saves he's pulled off in the first half, Mendy.
Chelsea have the advantage, leading by a goal to 0. 8 minutes to go to half-time. Mendy with a free kick, drifting out towards the far side. Azpilicueta does well to keep it in play. Chelsea playing from right to left. Ball hit forward by Christensen. Ramos puts out of play for a throw on halfway. And Zinedine Zidane patrolling that technical area down below. And Chelsea edging their way to maybe another all-English Champions League final to play Manchester City.
That puts them in a fantastic position, Chelsea, potentially 1-0 up going into half-time with their clean sheet record.
4 clean sheets in the last 5, 17 clean sheets in 23 under Tuchel, as Militao runs into Werner and feels the effects. Just the free kick has been awarded in Real Madrid's favour.
He's sharp though tonight, Timo Werner. He just needs to sharpen up his final ball because he gets in some unbelievably good positions with his pace. It's almost like he's running that fast, he can't calm down when it comes to that final ball.
Modric on the halfway. Casemiro. Modric, short forward ball to Casemiro. The return ball from Mendy, who was caught late there on that far side. And Christensen is going to get a yellow card. He made a challenge earlier in the half and the referee let that one ride, not so on this occasion. He's the third booking for the Italian referee. And that's what you've got to think now, haven't you? You've got to think Chelsea keep their discipline.
Keep the discipline, keep your shape, scorelines in your favour, clocks in your favour, manage the game, get to half-time with that clean sheet. It's very important.
Ball picked up now by Timo Werner, running forward. Mount and Chilwell are ahead of him. Here is Chilwell now, just shy of the left corner of the penalty area, inside to Werner, tried to play him, Mount blocked. Casemiro will bring the ball away for Real Madrid. Now they look for the run of Vinicius, but it goes away from him and all the way through to Edouard Mendy, who's back in control in his green goalkeeping outfit, holding on to the ball as we have under 6 minutes to go to half-time on 5 Live.
Yeah, I feel as though if you're Zidane, you need to get Vinicius Jr. into the game a lot more. He's the threat, he's the danger man.
Coming forward now is Havertz on the Chelsea right, back to Azpilicueta. Chelsea captain to the German triangular passing pattern, and then to Christensen. Thiago Silva hits it first time across to Rudiger. Rudiger now finds Chilwell on the left touchline, midway through the Real half. Rudiger, Thiago Silva. Chelsea keeping the ball for a sustained spell here. Jorginho now in the centre circle, still leading by a 1-0 as we approach half-time at Stamford Bridge. Here is Chilwell left-hand side. Little nudge there from Vinicius, spotted by the referee. Free kick to Chelsea. Chilwell, I thought, was just going to take quickly, but they'll now wait.
There's a calming influence from Thiago Silva at the back for Chelsea. Very calm on the ball.
And here he is. He passes it forward to Havertz. There's a little nibble of the heels from Nacho. Ball lifted forward, Jorginho. Chilwell takes it on the chest as he runs forward, down towards the corner flag on the left-hand side. And does he win a corner? No. I thought he did, but the Italian referee said it's a goal kick instead to Real. And we've got 4 minutes to go to half-time, where Chelsea lead by a 1-0. Timo Werner before the half-hour.
There's definitely an overload for Chelsea to try and exploit down their left-hand side, with Chilwell getting forward, taking Vinicius Jr. back. Mason Mount's just edging towards his left-hand side, so he's the free man when Chelsea have got the ball.
They try and press as the ball was back with Courtois, but he passes it out to Militao. And Militao then hits a flat ball, looking to try and get Vinicius away, and as it goes over his head, he puts up the thumbs of his right hands. He's wearing gloves as well on this chilly evening in West London, but it went away, veered away from him, and out of play it goes for a throw. Didn't have the space to try for that similar ball that Edison hit last night for Manchester City with his distribution.
What a ball that was.
But still, so much work for Chelsea to do when the margins are so fine at this level. Leading by a 1-0. Ramos to Kroos, comes under pressure from Kante. Mendy's on the ball now, being tracked by Azpilicueta. Passes it across to Militao, comes under the challenges of Mason Mount, snapping away at his heels. And now it's with Kante to Timo Werner, lets it run through. Mason Mount left-hand side. Mason Mount now forward. Mason Mount looking for an angle, gets the shot away, blocked, comes towards Werner, hooks it goalwards, caught by Courtois.
Half a chance, again, that left-hand side for Chelsea seems very, very strong. They're just getting one or two overloads, and Mason Mount driving into the 18-yard box just couldn't get his shot away.
As the game goes on, and Real push harder and harder for the goal that they so desperately crave, there's surely going to be openings for Chelsea at the other end.
Yeah, Mason Mount's a free man. But what they've got to be careful of is Real Madrid scoring the next goal in the game. So they've got to get to half-time with a clean sheet, Chelsea. That's the first port of call. Don't worry about anything else. Get to half-time, manage the game.
Benzema inside, Nacho. Nice little football there. They tried to return the ball to Nacho, but it was cleared away by Mendy. It was intricate just inside the penalty area, but Chelsea's defence dealt with it. Havertz now short of the halfway line, can't keep the ball in play. And we've got 2 minutes remaining of this first half of Chelsea 1, Real Madrid 0, 2-1 to Thomas Tuchel's side. On aggregate, Mendy back in the side. He's missed the last 4 games in La Liga, and of course the first leg with a calf injury since the victory of the tie when they knocked out Liverpool at Anfield. There have been a number of players who they've had to nurse through the last few weeks. Kroos and Valverde's still not part of the side, of course. He has had coronavirus. Here is Vinicius coming on the inside now and trying to get away from Chilwell. He's helped out by Kante, just runs across and takes it away and snuffs out the threat.
Brilliant work that from Kante. Just when you thought Chelsea might be in trouble, because Vinicius Junior's the more explosive player at the top end of the pitch for them, giving Chilwell 1 or 2 problems.
We're entering the last 60 seconds of this first half. A half where Chelsea have a slender lead by a goal to 0. Ball hit by Toni Kroos. Benzema's come very, very deep to collect the ball. Nacho's gone bombing on ahead of him as the ball is passed out towards the left-hand side for Mendy. Passes the ball to Jorginho. Forced time now up towards Havertz. Werner's going with him. Havertz now running in off that right touch line. Havertz does the step over in towards the penalty area. And there was Sergio Ramos just to take it away off his toes and turn it behind for a corner kick to Chelsea, who lead by a goal to 0.
Well, last-ditch defending there from Sergio Ramos. Real Madrid were banging trouble. There were so many blue shirts getting in the 18-yard box. Thomas Tuchel knew if Havertz could try and fire it across the 18-yard box. There's a couple of blue shirts in there with a potential tap-in.
We'll find out how much added on time there will be. And in fact, there is your answer. There isn't any. The half-time whistle has sounded, and Chelsea are 45 minutes away from reaching their 3rd Champions League final. They lead by a goal to 0. Havertz with his chip coming back off the crossbar, and Timo Werner heading the ball in from close range. However, it has required the acrobatics of Edouard Mendy for a brilliant save to keep out Benzema's header, and also, of course, saving from long-range efforts from Modric earlier in the half as well. But at half-time, Chelsea have the clean sheet that they so badly require. At the break, it's Chelsea 1, Real Madrid 0.
He's produced a couple of sensational saves, hasn't he, Don?
Oh, what a goalkeeper. I mean, very athletic, gets across his box really well, commands his 18-yard box as well, but in terms of athleticism, I mean, incredible athlete.
You just look at some of the stats, you know. Real Madrid have had 66% possession, double the number of passes, actually, for Real Madrid compared to Chelsea. But Chelsea have seem like they carry a little bit more of an... I know Mendy's made a couple of great saves, but bear in mind they've had one ruled out for offside as well. The threat is there on the counter-attack for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think they play it slightly different than Real Madrid. When Real Madrid get the ball high and wide, they're refusing to put any crosses in the box. Chelsea, being an English side, they work the ball into wide areas and are not shy of putting balls across the 18-yard box and troubling, you know, Courtois or the 2-3 centre-backs. They trouble them because they play the right passes. Real Madrid sometimes just a little bit too intricate. So they'll be happy, Real Madrid, not in terms of the goal they've conceded, but ball retention's been good. Mendy's pulled off 3 saves, so Zidane will be saying to his players at half-time, there's something here for us, we believe we can get back into the game. But as you said, when Chelsea go forward, they look like they could score at any given time, providing that they find that final ball.
And that goal came from exactly what we talked about in the build-up to the game, about Kante breaking through.
Exactly. I think Mason Mount had an indifferent game, Mason Mount, but his positional sense is incredible, where he's realising where the space is, and he realises he can get an overload down Chelsea's left-hand side. They can't quite find him too many times, but Kai Havertz has got so much confidence. He was unlucky when he chipped the goalkeeper that it wrapped the crossbar, and Werner never missing from a yard.
Don Hudson and Ian Dennis at Stamford Bridge. Second half on the way, but as it stands, it's an all-English Champions League final. Chelsea lead 1-0 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate. See out the next 45 minutes, and they'll be heading to Istanbul to take on Manchester City. We'll talk about the makeup of the Lions squad, which gets announced tomorrow during half-time, but at 12 minutes to 9, Aaron Paul has the news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening. Political parties across England, Scotland and Wales
doesn't it? But I can tell you it's not. You have to be at the top of your game to try it and to convert it.
So there are so many areas tomorrow. The topic about bolters, players like Danny Kerr, like Sam Simmons, who haven't played for England in years. They are on Warren Gatland's radar. He is giving them serious consideration. He doesn't care that they're not being picked by Eddie Jones at the moment. We've spoken about Tuolangi. We've got the Saracens players like the Vunipolas. Have they seen their stock fall to the point where it's gone through the floor and they can't get into the 36-man squad? I think Billy Vunipola certainly is in trouble. At fly half, on one hand, Johnny Sexton could be the test 10. On the other hand, he might not make the 36. Does that mean Finn Russell is in? Or if they go with Sexton, is that no Finn Russell? What about the midfield, Tuolangi, etc.? So, yeah, it's going to be one that is going to throw up so many talking points, I'm sure.
Just to use Finn Russell as an example there, there will be a lot of eyes here, won't there, on how many Scots are in this squad, given previous selections.
Definitely. Only 2 in 2017. And, speaking to some of our colleagues at BBC Scotland and Scotland fans of a certain age feel very little connection with the Lions. The ones that grew up with 1997 and Doddy Weir and Alan Tate and Gregor Townsend himself and Tom Smith and Rob Wainwright, for them the Lions is in their soul. But for the later generation, the ones who wouldn't have seen 1997, there hasn't been a test starter, I think, since 2001, since Tom Smith. Richie Gray came off the bench in 2013, but Scotland have not been represented. Is it going to be different this year? They have some help on the coaching staff. They've got Gregor Townsend as the attack coach. Their defence coach, Steve Tansey's one of Gatland's men as well. But how hard are they going to fight for certain players? Can it work the other way? Gatland has said, look, it can work two ways. On the one hand, you've got someone fighting your corner. On the other hand, that coach knows the player's weakness. There'll be more than 2 Scots, that's for sure. Stuart Hogg is a shoo-in. Hamish Watson is a shoo-in. I'm hearing Duane van der Merwe's right in contention. Xander Fagerson at tight head's got a great chance as well. But there also will be some Scots disappointed. So even there'll be more than 2, I wouldn't say it'll be up towards the sort of 8, 9, 10 that some Scotland fans might feel they deserve.
Alan Wynne-Jones as captain?
Alan Wynne-Jones as captain. Another Welshman after Sam Warburton doing the last 2 tours. It was put to me in the Six Nations by Rhys Patchell, a former teammate of Alan Wynne's, that Alan Wynne-Jones has completed rugby. If it was a computer game, Alan Wynne-Jones has finished it. He's just a World Cup win away, I suppose, from doing a lot. 157 caps and counting. He started the last 9 Lions test matches. He captained them 1 off in that decider in Sydney in 2013. But this would be his first time as the tour captain. I think 6 months, a year ago, you would have said, well, maybe Alan Wynne's too old to make the tour. He was so outstanding in the Six Nations. That, I think, has told Gatland, you need the aura, you need the experience. And even if he doesn't walk into the test team, I think Gatland would be prepared not to pick him, but to have him as the tour captain, although you don't write off Alan Wynne-Jones. So I would be not surprised in the slightest to have him not just captaining the tour, but leading the team in the test matches as well.
Right, you and Hugo doing a special Lions pod tomorrow. How long do you think that pod will be?
Well, you need to speak to our producer, Adam, who normally gets about 2 hours worth of rubbish and he has to chop it down into 45 minutes. But
I think you have to do longer than 4. I think you're going to be over an hour.
We might have to go past the hour.
You can't do a Lions squad in 45 minutes.
I think so, yeah. I think if the office let us, we'll tick past the hallowed hour mark. But we're going to speak to Gatland. We're going to speak to the captain, a few of the other coaches, Jason Leonard, the tour manager, and we'll have a reaction tomorrow night on 5 Live Sports. You won't miss a thing.
Good stuff. Cheers, Chris. Thank you, our rugby union correspondent, Chris Jones. Also, tomorrow night on 5 Live, we've got commentary of Arsenal Villarreal in the second leg of the Europa League semi-final. Arsenal, of course, 2-1 down after the first leg, although Mikel Arteta thinks Nicolas Pepe's late-away goal in Spain last week could be crucial.
It is always really important. We didn't get the result that we wanted, obviously, but with the context and the situation that happened during the game, we got out of that situation in a pretty good way, considering, again, the circumstances and playing for 40 minutes with 10 men. It's a massive game for everybody, but in particular for the club, because we are here representing a football club and our fans. And what we want to do is do it the best way winning trophies. And if we win tomorrow, we'll be much closer to get another trophy. And this is the only aim and the purpose. That's why we are here.
Guillaume Balaguer is still with us at Stamford Bridge. How is Arteta against Emery being seen in Spain, Guillaume?
Do you know, because Arteta's career was mostly in England, he's not seen yet as one of ours, if you like. In any case, it's an experienced manager who's trying to do the best with what he's got. This is Unai Emery at Villarreal in what has been a very difficult season where he lost a couple of players at the beginning of the season through injury. He is trying to impose a way of playing which hasn't always fully worked. Depends a lot on Gerard Moreno, a very good player. So from that point of view, they're almost there, Villarreal, in what they asked Unai Emery to do. And there isn't a lot of talk about what Mikel Arteta is doing at Arsenal, because they look at the table and they see other teams that are more, sexier, more interesting, with more stories. It seems like he has the backing of the people in charge, that you see glimpses of what he wants to do. I do know that that's what he sees himself. So it's still time. We need to judge him in perhaps, a year's time. He's still not a Mikel Arteta's side, and you still don't know what his strength is as a manager. He's trying to find himself still.
This is just as important, actually, for Villarreal, isn't it, in terms of European football next season, as it is for Arsenal?
Yes, to qualify to Europe again, and they want to be there regularly, and it's not guaranteed yet through the league. But also, is that other thing, is the title. Villarreal is a wonderful story. It's about, 17, 18 years ago, they were in second, about to go down into the second B, the third tier, and then they was rescued. They've been almost there, semi-finals of the Champions League against Arsenal, and that missed penalty of Riquelme. Almost there for a big final. They haven't made it, and I know they say it's not an obsession at the club. It is. It absolutely is. They want to just at least be closer to get a title, to kind of confirm that this project of wonderful football that has had wonderful players, they can go that extra mile and get that thing that puts you in history.
Do you make Villarreal the favourites, quickly?
If you have a look at what happened in the first leg, absolutely. But this is a semi-final of an European competition. But to be honest, they were very solid. They knew what they were doing. They didn't deserve the result. The penalty, I don't know what you said about the penalty, but not really a penalty. If that hadn't happened, they could have got a really, a clean sheet, a really good score. But that didn't happen. And right now, it's up to, but see what Arteta throws to them. But you look at every line, and they've got players of quality. Asenjo on goal, Pau Torres, the centre back, left-footed, possibly a regular with Spain from now on. Gerard Moreno, the best Spanish forward. Paco Alcácer, who doesn't need to do a lot, but actually generally scores. It's a very, very good side. Yeah. What did you ask? Favourite? Yeah, possibly.
Thank you, Guillaume. Talk soon. Guillaume Balaguer on 5 Live Sport. Forget all the money involved, Don. Could Arsenal benefit by not being in Europe next season? Forget the money.
Benefit by not being in Europe?
Yeah. If Arteta just gets more time with his players, not as many midweek games, and just works with what he wants to implement with his side, could that be a positive?
It could be, but everything that I know about the game would suggest to me that you'd rather be in Europe, because then you can try and attract bigger and better players with more finances, and I think Arsenal would be a better lure if you're a potential player wanting to come into Arsenal, if you first and foremost check out where they are in the league and where they're finished and what competitions they're going to be in next season. I hear you where it could be, but I'm not sure the fans would then give Mikel Arteta enough time if they get off to a bad start.
Are the teams back out, Ian?
Yes, they are. Chelsea just coming out now with us. Put it closer. Yeah, I was just leaning forward.
Right.
I was just checking. You answered me a question, but I've got to lean quite a way forward to see down below.
Oh right. It just is. I thought you. I couldn't.
It's nothing
hear
to do with them 4 muffins that you've got on the table, is it?
Where are they?
4 muffins, 5 bags of sweets. I just had to move them out of the way so I could see what was going on down below.
I don't know what it is with the summarisers who I work with, but they're always out. I've not even touched a muffin.
What was your half-time snack, Ian?
I didn't have a snack, actually.
Really?
He didn't, actually. No, he didn't. He's got eyes on them. but he's not had one.
Goodness me.
I'm saving them for a full-time snack.
Yeah, I was going to say, wonders never cease. Right, are we ready to go then?
Not yet, no.
We've got no Real Madrid.
Oh, right, okay, right, fine. We'll keep talking. How do Chelsea approach this second half then, Don?
Exactly the same. I wouldn't have thought of any caution, even though they've got the goal lead. I think Thomas Tuchel will say to his players as Real Madrid just come back onto the pitch, I think he'll say, get the next goal in the game, play the way we've been playing. I know Real Madrid have been a threat, and Zidane will be saying exactly the same in the Real Madrid dressing room. You feel as though there's more goals in this game. I can't see this finishing 1-0, so there's a bit more drama left in this game. For Thomas Tuchel, get the next goal. It's so important.
Right, Real Madrid are back out now. Ian, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mark. Yep, doesn't appear to be any changes from either of the two sides. So the Chelsea team, Mendy in goal, Rudiger, Christensen and Thiago Silva the back three, Azpilicueta and Chilwell the wing backs, Jorginho and Kante in the midfield, Mount, Havertz and Timo Werner, the goal scorer, taking his tally to a tidy dozen. And what an important goal as well. As for Real Madrid, no changes from them either. Courtois is in goal. It's a back three of Militao, Sergio Ramos and Nacho. The wing-backs are Vinicius and Mendy, which is right and left respectively. Casemiro, Modric and Kroos, Hazard and Benzema. And Chelsea have 45 minutes to negotiate. And if they can make it 18 clean sheets under Thomas Tuchel, they will be in the Champions League final. It's a slender lead on the night and an aggregate 2-1 overall, so the pressure is on Real Madrid. But we were just discussing off air at half-time, and you sense that there is still so much more in this Champions League semi-final that not only is live on BBC Radio 5 Live, we're also the 5 Live final score, the red button, the BBC iPlayer, the BBC Sport website and the app, but we're also live on BBC Radio London this evening as Chelsea looking to try and book their place in the final on the 29th of May. But still so much for them to do, Don Hutchison.
Absolutely, and I'm just looking at the two benches. Real Madrid's bench is quite strong in terms of some youngsters that they've got, but Chelsea's bench is incredible.
Chelsea coming forward, royal blue shirts and shorts and white socks, and playing from left to right as we look, high up in the main stand here at Stamford Bridge. Christensen, the Danish international. Azpilicueta, it's a first time cross from the right hand side, and the header from Havertz cannons back off the crossbar. And that's the second time tonight he's hit the crossbar, and that was a terrific header, and Real Madrid are lucky still to be in the tie.
Incredible effort. He's got so much confidence now, Kai Havertz. I mean, that's a stunning header. Looked as though it was going right into the top corner. It had the goalkeeper, Courtois, completely beaten.
Well, the first time he hit the bar, it came down and the rebound was nodded in, almost on the goal line by Timo Werner. This time it just clipped the bar and went out for a goal kick, but that was almost the goal to propel Chelsea into the Champions League final, because Don Hutchison said it in the first half, the next goal so crucial, because if it falls for Chelsea it really will deflate Real Madrid. However, if the Spanish side get it, we're back at all square.
He's flying. Kai Havertz just nutmegged Toni Kroos in the middle of the park.
Well, Chelsea were delighted to acquire his services, one of Europe's top talents, 18 goals last season. His brace of goals against Fulham at the weekend took his tally to 8. But almost giving Chelsea a 2-0 lead, and the cushion would be very, very difficult for Real Madrid to come back from.
There's a real contradiction about the tactics and what you're seeing, because when you look at Chelsea's midfield two up against Real Madrid's three in midfield, especially look at Modric as the free man, he's the last person in the world you'd want to give freedom to, and you know, he's never going to waste a pass. He's going to pick a forward pass, but at the same time, when Chelsea win it, Mason Mount's not really tracking him back, so he's the outlet for Chelsea.
The voice of Don Hutchison on BBC Radio 5 Live. Ball pumped long towards Timo Werner, and that was cleared away by Militao, high up in the air. Azpilicueta heads it forward inside the centre circle. Casemiro brings it under control. Toni Kroos, Nacho, out towards this near side, Ferland Mendy. Ramos, back in the side, after an absence of 9 games. Casemiro out towards Militao. He's certainly getting a regular run. It's his 10th successive start. Eder Militao, who they signed from Porto in 2019. Have to be patient and wait for his opportunities as Ramos to Modric once again, coming deep to collect the ball. Toni Kroos forward. Now it is with Casemiro. Casemiro playing the ball forward. Cushion header by Thiago Silva. There was N'Golo Kante passing the ball back to Christensen. Jorginho. First time ball hit by Rudiger, and all of a sudden Chilwell has got space to run into on that left hand side. Mason Mount and Timo Werner are up with him. The ball's crossed towards Havertz, and it just brushes away off the head of Nacho and does enough to take it out of the path of Havertz, who keeps the ball in play. Azpilicueta on this near side.
Smelling a goal, Chelsea. They are smelling the next goal in the game. So dangerous when they go forward.
You think of the start that Real Madrid made in the first half. Chelsea have done exactly the same. They look a lot more confident.
Yeah, they've got the confidence from obviously the goal. Then they get in at half-time with a clean sheet, which gives them more confidence. Then the manager's team talk will be saying to them, you're playing unbelievable football, you're going to score more goals. So they've took that belief into the start of this game.
Chilwell has just been fouled, and that will be a free kick to Chelsea. It's been an ongoing battle between Chilwell and Vinicius. So it's about 10 yards in from the left touch line, on the Chelsea left, on that far side, playing from left to right.
Might be a chance for Chelsea, you know. Not the biggest of sides, Real Madrid. Militao and Sergio Ramos, their best headers of the ball.
Well, you've got everybody back for Real Madrid. They've got 2 in the wall on the corner of the penalty area.
Azpilicueta's free.
He is. He's up from the back. Christensen, Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Havertz, Timo Werner. So you've got half a dozen Royal Blue shirts to aim for. In comes the free kick from Chilwell, and the header is just over the top from Thiago Silva. Just couldn't keep it down, and Chelsea's lead remains at 1-0.
Yeah, he'll feel as though that's a chance, and it was a chance, not an easy one. But we just feel if they play the right delivery, Chelsea, they're too big for Real Madrid.
Played short from the goal kick. Almost time seemed to stand still there as nobody moved. As then comes the press from Chelsea to Courtois, puts his left foot through it, downfield.
Talking of nobody moving, Deno, Eden Hazard's got to move a lot more off Jorginho.
Yeah, he's hasn't made the necessary impact that he would have wanted on his return to Stamford Bridge so far. You think back, I was actually here for what was his last kick at Stamford Bridge. It was the winning kick in that penalty shootout against Eintracht Frankfurt in 2019. But just, it hasn't happened for him, has it?
You would have thought on this stage, back at his former club, there'd be so much excitement about him wanting to play well. And his personal performance, just been on the fringes of the game.
This is only his 18th appearance from what has been another frustrating campaign for him since he moved to Spain. Here he is on the ball now, but he's quickly crowded out. It's a real tussle, and Thiago Silva uses his experience just to chip the ball onto the legs of Ferland Mendy, and out it goes for a Chelsea throw on this near side, the right. So 7.5 minutes have just quickly flown by in this second period on BBC Radio 5 Live. We've got more live football for you tomorrow. I think this weekend 5 Live will probably have brought you the equivalent of a month of live football with consecutive days. It'll be about 30 days. A little flick by Timo Werner. Here is Mason Mount, and Mason Mount has put the ball over the top.
Some chance. Thomas Tuchel is absolutely raging because that was some chance, and you fancied Mason Mount the way he got in. Little flick around the corner from Timo Werner. Now he's bearing down on Courtois 1v1. I thought the dink finish was the best option. Blazed it over the bar.
He went for power, and he found the canvas in that Matthew Harding stand away towards our right-hand side. Talking of canvas, that's what Chelsea are looking for. They're looking for that knockout blow to floor Real Madrid, who at the minute have come under a lot of pressure in this second half. 9 minutes played, and Chelsea have been the better side in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Just starting to find 1 or 2 problems now, Real Madrid.
Here is Modric. However, Edouard Mendy made 2 very good saves from Benzema in that first half. They still have to maintain their concentration. Hazard. And that'll be a free kick on that far side. You can hear the groans of frustration from the players in the direction of Daniel Orsato, the referee. It was Militao who went down. He was just caught by a flailing arm, accidental by Chilwell, but the free kick has been taken. Chelsea pressing. Kroos collects the ball just over the halfway line. Ferland Mendy on this, near side the left. Chelsea have everybody back, still leading by a goal to 0 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate. Forward ball, letting it run through Hazard towards Benzema. Benzema, referee's blown his whistle, coming back from an offside position. Free kick to Chelsea.
There needs to be more urgency from Real Madrid. There's a point in this second half where they're going to have to take more chances. Could play into Chelsea's hands.
In the first half, there was I don't know whether this is right, whether you would agree, but as Rudiger just again running forward. It's a storming run by Rudiger, but you sense that there was a feeling of apprehension that Real Madrid were on top so much, whereas this time that just seems to have been eased somewhat by the Chelsea performance in the second half.
Yeah, it's been so much better. They've took the game to Real Madrid. I think in the first 50 minutes they were a little bit standoffish, Real Madrid dominating the ball, and you give good players time and space like Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, Casemiro in midfield, and they had the extra man. They were working Chelsea, and Mendy was pulling off good saves. You get the feeling that goal's just rocked them.
Here is Havertz, so unlucky with that header at the start of the second half. And Real Madrid, who you sense were pleased still to be in the tie after that first leg last week, certainly will feel a huge sense of relief to see his header cannon away off the crossbar as the ball is passed all the way back to Edouard Mendy. Christensen collects it on the edge of his own penalty area. Kroos gets a sliding challenge in there, and then there was Nacho throwing himself with a block challenge in from Azpilicueta, and out it goes for a Chelsea throw. But you said the first half whizzed by. I mean, we're already 11 minutes into this second half. And as each minute ticks by, it's another minute to take Chelsea closer to what would be a 5th all-English European final.
I think both managers as well at this point in the game, at the hour mark, will probably make 1 or 2 changes, more so Real Madrid.
Ball hit long by Courtois. Azpilicueta to Rudiger, lets it reach him as he just shuffles across that back line. Chilwell hits the ball forward. Militao to Casemiro. And at the back, Sergio Ramos. They'll try not to panic. They've got the experience, they've certainly got the pedigree, and we know that they've got the quality, Real Madrid. Modric.
Havertz is having a good game. I thought he was brilliant against Fulham getting a brace, but he's really enjoying himself tonight.
Well, that was the only change that they made from the first leg, coming in for Pulisic, who of course got the goal, but it would appear to be a decision that's been vindicated so far, Don.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kroos, that's a good through ball to Casemiro. Rudiger read it well, coming across, cleared, puts it out of play for a throw. It was a piercing forward ball, and Real Madrid just starting to get back into the game as they trail by 1-0. Here is Ferland Mendy on this near side towards Hazard. Hazard does the little turn away from Jorginho. Now it's with Modric, strokes it out towards Vinicius. Vinicius, right corner of the penalty area, held up by Chilwell, plays the ball back. Casemiro chips it in first time. Edouard Mendy claims it. Is there the break on? He'll hold on to the ball, and Chelsea still lead by 1-0.
Yeah, he thought about it there, Mendy. He was looking up front at Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, and he was thinking there might have been a 2v2 on. Real Madrid got numbers back, so he changed his mind.
Ball put out of play by Chilwell on that far side, and it'll be a throw to Real Madrid. Just over half an hour remaining on BBC Radio 5 Live. Tomorrow night, the Europa League semi-finals will have commentary of Arsenal against Villarreal. Friday night, Leicester City against Newcastle, and then Saturday's 5 Live Sport, Sheffield United against Crystal Palace, plus the final day of the Championship and League 2. The live football just keeps on coming. That's how we like it. Certainly enjoying every minute of this contest here at Stamford Bridge. Benzema tries this stabbed the ball into the path of Hazard. Rudiger almost overruns it in front of Modric, but recovers, and the ball played through the middle, and here is Kai Havertz. Havertz settles himself, denied by the legs of Courtois. Another chance for Chelsea, and Courtois denies Havertz, and Chelsea just cannot see off Real Madrid.
What a big save, and a brilliant chance for Kai Havertz. I wasn't sure if he was on or offside. It would have been really tight, but very casual with the finish, trying to find that bottom left-hand corner. Big stop from Courtois.
You think of the chances that Chelsea have had. I mean, they had the goal disallowed, but Timo Werner in the first half, they just cannot find that crucial second goal.
Well, they will if they keep playing like this. Look very dangerous, Chelsea. Just got to be aware that Real Madrid might dominate the ball a little bit more in the second half.
Denied by the legs of Courtois against his former side, keeping out Havertz. Here is Ferland Mendy on this near side, the left. Benzema inside, the return ball from Kroos. He's overhit it. Thiago Silva will volley the ball away for Chelsea. Sergio Ramos, was there a little nudge there from Timo Werner? His years of experience made sure that he won that duel to make sure that the referee gave it in his favour, Sergio Ramos.
I know it's not the Real Madrid way, but they've got to mix their game up a little bit more when they're getting wide areas. They're not even looking or attempting to play any crosses into the box. It's too intricate.
3 chances that Chelsea have created in the opening 15 minutes of this second half. Havertz hitting the crossbar, Mason Mount putting one over, and then Courtois keeping up that effort out from Havertz. They could have put the tie to bed. They could already be dreaming of their place in that Champions League final against Manchester City. As it is, Real Madrid are still in it, trailing by a goal to nil. Coming forward now, Nacho on the left-hand side. Benzema plays the ball back. Here is Eden Hazard on the ball, strokes it on the inside. Modric chips the ball towards Vinicius. Chilwell runs towards him, takes it on the chest, goes back on the outside. His back goal side is Chilwell. Vinicius, though, is past Chilwell. Vinicius with the cross. Jorginho back to head the ball away, and there is Chilwell, left-hand side of his own penalty area, to volley the ball clear for Chelsea. Ramos heads it forward. Real Madrid now are starting to exert a little bit of pressure on Chelsea. Still, that slender lead is intact. 61 minutes played on 5 Live, but here on the counter-attack can come Chelsea. Havertz does well to get back to his feet, and then he's taken out by Nacho. And then all of a sudden, Havertz and Nacho are squaring up to each other, and once again the referee just with a watching brief, but you can't do anything silly.
Well, he had a little kick out, you know, Kai Havertz. It was a poor tackle from Nacho, but as he was on the floor, the German had a little kick out.
Nacho is shown the yellow card. I mean, it was a poor challenge from Nacho, but Havertz, in the end, it was grappling with the shirt and throwing him to the ground. And we're going to have a double change as well, Don, for Real Madrid. We're going to have Asensio coming on, and also Valverde is going to be coming on. Now, he's hardly played of late, Valverde. But Valverde coming on for Ferland Mendy. I'm not surprised that he hasn't really lasted much longer than the hour. And Vinicius Junior is the player to come off for Mario Asensio.
A little bit surprised at that. I thought he was just starting to get 1 or 2 touches, Vinicius Junior. Not really Valverde's position, he can play it.
If there was a VAR check for that incident with Havertz and the now booked Nacho, it was quickly dismissed by Mr. Arati, who is the VAR here this evening. But it's 2 apiece in terms of yellow cards. The most important scoreline, though, is Chelsea 1, Real Madrid 0. 62 minutes played, live on 5 Live, and of course BBC Radio London, who are with us this evening too. Nacho with a back heel. On this near side, it was Asensio, goes out of play for a throw. Time running out, though, for the 13 times European winners, who've won 6 of their last 9 games in the Champions League. They've only lost 1 during that time. Ball played forward. Casemiro finds Modric. Out towards that right-hand side. Back inside now to Sergio Ramos. Kroos in the centre circle watches on as it's passed forward to Asensio, laid off towards Nacho. Everybody forward. It was Ramos and Kroos who were back there. Asensio with the cross. Rudiger. He's had a good game tonight, hasn't he?
Really good. Just been solid.
Kept in live by Valverde. Finds Hazard. Hazard fires it in. The angle was tight. Kept out by the legs of Edouard Mendy. He was the inside right channel, the penalty area. He turned and the angles had to be correct by the goalkeeper. In the end, he saved it with his knees. It's gone behind for a corner kick. Still, that threat remains, Don.
Yeah, some solid performers, though. As you said, Rudiger going about his business. N'Golo Kanté exactly the same. Another good stop from Mendy.
Corner kick for Real Madrid. Comes in from the right-hand side. Headed out by Havertz. Hazard picks it up. Doesn't come on the inside of Timo Werner. He was caught. Free kick too.
Didn't need to foul him. Timo Werner didn't need to foul Hazard there. He was going to be up against two blue shirts, and if Chelsea win the ball back, Werner would have been away.
You can see the desperation from the waving of hands of the Real Madrid players. It's going to be a free kick for the Spanish side. Kroos to take it, just in from the right touchline. In it comes now as Azpilicueta heads it out. Chelsea still lead by a goal to nil. Timo Werner picks it up, and all of a sudden the counter-attack could be on, and it's with Timo Werner running clear. Timo Werner, he has options right and left. He passes the ball here to N'Golo Kanté, and it's kept out again by Courtois, and another chance goes begging for Chelsea.
Another big chance, but the threat is still there from Chelsea on the counter. They've been superb. They just need the second goal. It was a brilliant run from deep from N'Golo Kanté. Must have ran 40-50 yards straight by Modric, who was never going to catch him.
Asensio.
This is one of these movies, Dano, you've seen before, when a team has so many chances and they're not taking them. You think if Real Madrid get one, especially with Benzema, they might just take that chance.
Cannot write them off just yet. Real Madrid pushing, probing. Chelsea lead 1-0 on the night, 2-1 on aggregate. Casemiro, a little bit of a stumble, gets back to his feet, retains his balance then, and then Sergio Ramos out towards Eden Hazard. Hazard being tracked by Azpilicueta. Ramos did very, very well, sliding to hook it away out of the path of Timo Werner, who could have been away. But you can feel that sense of jeopardy now in the tie, Don.
Yeah, you can. And if Real Madrid make one mistake in the middle of the park, Chelsea are going to exploit it. They can't keep giving up their chances.
Well, they've had 4 in this second half alone. Pulisic's going to be coming on. So Thomas Tuchel is going to be making a change. And the player who's going to be coming off is Timo Werner. Timo Werner, whose goal is the difference between the two sides. And Christian Pulisic, who of course has played his part in that first leg last week in Madrid, comes on to replace him.
I think he's thinking there, Thomas Tuchel, if we can get one more chance or a couple more chances, the likelihood Christian Pulisic might finish it over Timo Werner.
Well, he was certainly composed, and it was a cool finish last week. And they've built on that tonight, leading by a goal to nil, and we're midway through the second half on 5 Live and Radio London.
I mean, he has got some bench, hasn't he, Thomas Tuchel? If you want ball retention, you've still got Hakim Ziyech, still got Abraham, Hudson-Odoi, Giroud,
Reece James. I mean,
Billy Gilmour played well against Fulham.
Yeah, they've got a lot of quality on that Chelsea bench. We're looking like having another all-English Champions League final, just as they did in 2019, as Courtois manages to get the ball away despite the fact that Pulisic was putting him under some pressure. In fact, 2019 was the first time that all finalists had taken all 4 spots in Europe's 2 major competitions from the same country, Liverpool, Spurs, and then Chelsea, Arsenal. History could well repeat itself if Arsenal can overturn that 2-1 defeat tomorrow and play Manchester United, providing, of course, there's no capitulation from United in Rome. Kanté coming forward. Live coverage of that tomorrow on 5 Live. Here we are at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea are just over 20 minutes away from reaching the Champions League final. Christensen. They've been good second half.
Chelsea have been excellent. They really have. You can just feel the desperation for Real Madrid. They're not really carving out any chances, and when they do make mistakes, Chelsea are not punishing them by finishing their chances, but they're creating very, very good ones.
And you go back to those two key moments in that 9-minute period in the first half where Mendy away to his left from Benzema's effort from outside the area, and then his header 10 minutes before half-time acrobatically tipped over to deny Real Madrid that away goal.
And you just think at some point in the game Real Madrid are going to have to commit even more bodies forward.
20 minutes remaining. It is still a tense affair inside Stamford Bridge. Kroos to Hazard, can't roll away from Christensen, tight behind him. Hazard then loses the ball. Oh, and the referee has given the free kick in favour of Real Madrid. That looked a harsh decision.
It did. It probably come from the tackle, the original one of Andreas Christensen, who just knocked him off balance, and then Kante had a little nibble from behind.
Kroos spreads play out towards Militao. Real Madrid get the free kick on the halfway line. White shirts, white shorts, black socks, playing from right to left.
They've lost that tricky though, haven't they? Vinicius Junior, Valverde, a completely different player on that right-hand side for Real Madrid.
And we talk as well about players who have, you know, having to come back, and fitness issues that Guillaume Balaguer was talking about. He's missed the last 5. He's fighting, you know, getting back to fitness after having COVID. Modric forward ball, Nacho's come on the inside. Nacho nudges the ball towards Benzema. Very good challenge that was made by Christensen. Now Kante takes over. Pulisic with the run. Pulisic with the ball at his feet coming forward, goes on the outside. And now Pulisic sends over the cross, too close to the goalkeeper Courtois.
Another chance. All he has to do there, Christian Pulisic, is fire it hard and low to the near post. Havertz would have had a tap in.
Game just starting to become a little bit stretched. Slowed down by Casemiro to Ramos. Modric is deep in between the two central defenders there. Benzema keeps coming deep to collect the ball. Modric now looks and tries to scheme a way forward, but his forward ball is cut out by Christensen and volleyed away by Edouard Mendy, spinning it through the air and then running away off the legs of Pulisic, and out of play it goes for a Real Madrid throw on the halfway line.
Stretched is not how Real Madrid will want this game. They're going to have to turn it into that sort of fight and that sort of game. That's a bad tackle.
That was a bad tackle, and that was Kroos who's going to get the yellow card. It's a third Real Madrid player who's booked, joining Ramos and Nacho.
The Chelsea players should take that as a compliment. Some of the Real Madrid players committing bad fouls. They might know the game's going away from them. So it's desperation for Real Madrid.
18 minutes of normal time remaining. Chelsea heading through, leading by 1-0 here at Stamford Bridge. Christensen with a free kick. Forward, taken on the chest by Pulisic. Pulisic trying to get away from Nacho. Nacho with a well-timed challenge concedes the corner kick. It's a Chelsea corner on this near side, the right, leading by 1-0 on 5 Live.
Yeah, that was good work from Christian Pulisic, playing on Nacho, just trying to get to the byline. Fresh legs for Chelsea.
Real Madrid have got every white shirt back in and around the penalty area. Mason Mount is going to take it. This should be an out-swinging corner from the Chelsea right, leading by 1-0. Mason Mount now, in it comes, and the header is just touched wide from Thiago Silva. Made that darting run towards the near side of the 6-yard box, glanced it well wide. Chelsea 1-0.
Another chance, not an easy one. It was more so the second ball. It was hard for Thiago Silva to generate the power on that header. All it needed was a blue shirt, a runner at the far post. It would have been another chance for Chelsea.
Divide the piece of A4 paper in front of me into columns, and on the left-hand side in this second half I've got about 5 opportunities for Chelsea. It's just blank in the second half for Real Madrid in this second period, but you've got that nagging doubt that they might just require that one opportunity to take us into extra time. That's the worry from a Chelsea point of view, as Real Madrid now come forward. Valverde on the right-hand side, almost level with the penalty area.
Yeah, you can imagine the Chelsea fans tuning in, as I said before, a movie that everyone's seen before, everyone's watched enough football to know you don't take the chances. If Real Madrid get one, they might just take it, but they've got to keep the belief, Chelsea, and they're performing really well.
Rudiger's effort charged down by Casemiro. It'll go out of play for a throw.
You would fancy if Nacho and Sergio Ramos are leaving themselves 2v2 with Pulisic and Havertz, the Chelsea players might fancy more chances in the remaining part of this game.
There is activity down below on the bench. I think it might be Rodrigo who could be coming on very, very soon. Zinedine Zidane looking to try and just spark something in terms of an opportunity as Courtois has sliced his clearance. He applauds in terms of an encouragement, does Zinedine Zidane, as it went in towards his direction. But Real Madrid have posed very little threat. And yet the game still remains on a knife edge.
Exactly, because of the chances that Chelsea have missed.
As Piliqueta lifts it forward, Pulisic is there, Ramos takes it high on the chest, flicks it forward, Casemiro stretches those neck muscles to head the ball back to Courtois, and we're about to enter the last quarter of an hour of this Champions League semi-final on BBC Radio 5 Live, and Chelsea lead through Timo Werner's goal after 28 minutes. Ball back with Courtois as they play out from the back. Chelsea have 3 blue shirts just in and around the Real Madrid penalty area. Modric is now caught in possession. Jorginho taking the ball off him and down towards the corner flag. Helped out by Mason Mount on that left-hand side. It'll be a Chelsea throw. And here comes the change, and indeed it will be Rodrigo. And it's Casemiro who's coming off, so it's an attacking change being made by Zinedine Zidane.
Had to be taking a hold of midfield player off.
Well, we're such a long way away from the technical area, but Zinedine Zidane has just held aloft his right hand with, I can only imagine it must be a certain amount of fingers, or telling them to get some instruction across to his players. We'll try and see how they have changed things at the minute, but Rodrigo is on nevertheless. Time running out desperately for Zinedine Zidane. 14 minutes remain. Chelsea lead by a goal to 0 on the night. Pulisic forward to Azpilicueta. Little flick inside to Pulisic. Keeps the ball in play. Running in now off that right touchline. Pulisic enters the penalty area. He crosses the ball. It's missed by Havertz, who dived inside the 6-yard area. Kept alive on that far side. Chilwell to Mason Mount inside the penalty area. And the ball is brought away by Modric, and Benzema now opens up the ball towards that far side. And it's with Rodrigo. And Rodrigo crosses the ball from the right-hand side, and there was Thiago Silva, a reassuring presence at the back with his years of experience, with a cushion header to Chilwell. And all of a sudden Chelsea retain the control as they lead by a goal to 0. And here is Pulisic once more as Piliqueta is getting forward. He stayed onside as Piliqueta, edge of the penalty area, back inside to Pulisic. Pulisic waits as Piliqueta is also there, as Piliqueta just got a brief touch, and now it's in the hands of Courtois.
Taking all sorts of chances now, Real Madrid. I think they've gone to a flat back four. I think Nacho's playing at left back, Fede Valverde at right back.
And here is Valverde, the Uruguayan international, head down, running forward. Strong run, making good ground on that far side. He's still going, Valverde. Inside to Rodrigo. Shot's going to come in from Asensio. That was cleared by Azpilicueta, and out it goes for a throw. 12 minutes remain.
Azpilicueta's just starting to blow for Chelsea.
And Reece James is about to take off his bib. Don Hutchison called it all night with every decision, and once again Azpilicueta will be coming off for Reece James in these closing stages. The Chelsea captain will make way.
Yes, I was going to say the perfect night for Thomas Tuchel, but what he's got a good bench that he can rely on, and he can go like for like. He can go Reece James for Azpilicueta if needed. If he wants ball retention, he's still got Hakim Ziyech on the bench. Just depends on how he sees it.
He'd be the prime candidate for an advert for a soap powder company, wouldn't he? Thomas Tuchel with his clean sheets.
That's twice you've done that one. You must like that one.
It was a variation of the first one. But that was the
good one, though.
1-0, just over 10 minutes remaining. Reece James ready to come on. It's with Kante coming forward. Plays it towards Pulisic, tied it up at the back by Nacho. Courtois clears long, up towards Benzema, being tightly marked by Thiago Silva, but he rolls away from Thiago Silva with his strength. Benzema still going, but covering with Jorginho, reading the situation very, very well, and making that challenge, and Chilwell clears long.
And that was great play all round, great strength from Benzema to try and work some sort of angle, but defensively from Jorginho, spot on, recognising the danger.
10 minutes of normal time on 5 Live. Benzema.
Can't help but think Benzema just wants one chance. He's not had any really in the second half at all. A couple in the first half.
Here is Valverde. Now with Nacho to Asensio, coming in off the left touch line. Still Chelsea's lead is a precious one, but it's just the one goal. Nacho to Hazard. Azpilicueta sticking to his guns, dropping the shoulder but not getting past Azpilicueta. Militao. With the exception of Ramos, every outfield player is in the Chelsea half towards our left-hand side. Modric. Forward ball, cut out well by Christensen. Clears long. Havertz up against Ramos, takes it away from Ramos. Havertz has done very, very well. Drifting out towards the left and now coming back inside. Havertz, this is superb from Havertz. He's found Kante just outside the area. Forward ball, and it's pulled by Pulisic. Wide right-footed, out for a goal kick. Chelsea still lead 1-0.
Brilliant centre-forward play from Kai Havertz. He won his aerial duel with Ramos, then took him on Chelsea's left-hand side, and Ramos just starting to blow from Real Madrid. Not an easy one for Pulisic to take on the angle.
You can't take your eyes off it though, can you?
No.
1-0, 9 minutes remain. Rodrigo.
You feel as though the game's either going to be 1-1 with a Benzema goal or Chelsea get the second.
That's Don Hutchison who's with us here on 5 Live. Hazard coming forward, Kante with him. Azpilicueta plays it forward, and Pulisic now over the halfway line.
Keep going.
Pulisic, if he can slide it through. Mason Mount was on, it was cut out by Modric.
Well, he should have kept going there, Christian Pulisic, fresh off the bench, and Nacho absolutely struggling at left back. Some of the Real Madrid players are absolutely shattered. They're out on the feet.
Well, this is where, when they've been rested and coming back from injury and illness, it might be starting to take its toll, with a little bit of fatigue in the closing stages for some of the Real players. 8 minutes remaining of normal time, and it is still 1-0 to Chelsea. Kroos finds Nacho over the halfway line. Asensio waits, he gets the ball, tries to return it to Nacho. Out of play it goes for a throw in front of Thomas Tuchel. Asensio to Kroos on the halfway line. Back inside to Modric. Modric almost at a standstill. Goes square and to his right for Militao. Back inside to Kroos. Still quite calm on the ball with the two experienced campaigners. And Hazard to Asensio. Level with the penalty area just in from the left touch line. Cross well blocked by Azpilicueta. They've defended well as a unit, haven't they, Don?
They've done really well, put their bodies on the line. This is the work that Thomas Tuchel's been doing behind the scenes for a few months now. They've got total belief, Chelsea. If they score a goal, they could keep a clean sheet.
Here is Nacho. Nacho with the cross, and it was Rodrigo who was climbing inside the 6-yard area, and you worried for a moment when that ball was sailing.
I don't think they've done enough of that, Real Madrid. Put crosses in the box.
Still, Chelsea's lead is intact. 2-1 on aggregate, 1-0 on the night, 7 minutes remaining. Those 7 minutes will feel like an absolute age for a Chelsea supporter listening to 5 Live as Kroos spreads the play out towards Valverde on that right-hand side. Holding the width. Militao behind him. He goes infield. Kroos now to Militao, to Sergio Ramos. Every outfield player in the Chelsea half. Real Madrid play from right to left. Valverde gets the ball back from Modric, moves it on the inside to Kroos. Nacho joins the attack now. Nacho just short of the left corner, crosses right-footed, and it goes through a crowd of players and safely out through that body of players and out for a goal kick, and another minute's going to tick by.
Wasn't the worst ball in the world, but Rudiger done well. Rodrigo had the run on him and just absolutely blocked him off, blocked his path.
It's a 15th UEFA semi-final for Chelsea. They've won 6 and lost 8 of the previous 14. But they are a matter of minutes away from a third Champions League final. 2008, winners of course in 2012.
What a game he's had tonight, Kai Havertz, up against Sergio Ramos.
He's been outstanding, hasn't he? Kante winning the ball. Kante gets there too. Kante now to the edge of the area. He plays in Pulisic to finish it. Pulisic tries to draw the goalkeeper, pulls it back, and there it is. That's the goal that they wanted, and it's Mason Mount from close range. Chelsea have got the second goal. The celebrations can begin. It's Chelsea 2, Real Madrid 0, and it will be a case of English delight in Istanbul.
Thomas Tuchel is hugging Thiago Silva because he knows the game's done. It was always coming, to be honest, the second Chelsea goal. They've been unbelievable in the second half. They're just wasting too many chances, and even then when Christian Pulisic was 1v1, he had the chance to finish it, but he'd done the right thing. He was calm and he put it on a plate to Mason Mount. Brilliant finish into the top corner.
The celebrations are still ongoing for Chelsea. Real Madrid want to continue, but with 4.5 minutes of normal time remaining, Mason Mount popping up with that all-important goal that surely will be the sufficient cushion that Chelsea require.
And N'Golo Kanté won't get an assist, but the work that he done to nick the ball back high up the pitch for Chelsea was incredible. His industry and his work rate's been second to none, but high up the pitch he played the right pass to Christian Pulisic. He was patient and he put it on a plate for Mason Mount, and Thomas Tuchel's men know they should be there. They should be in the final against Man City.
Real Madrid have now got to score 2 goals in the 4 minutes plus stoppage time. Otherwise, we are looking at an all-English Champions League final. The timing could not have been better from a Chelsea point of view, just to take that little bit of anxiety and tension out of the tie.
Take your pick for man of the match, but I think Kai Havertz has been sensational, leading the line for Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea have had so many chances in the second half, but eventually it was Pulisic who did well, and again that change made by Thomas Tuchel coming good for him, wasn't it, to take up Timo Werner?
Yeah, I think he just wanted that extra pair of legs, but at the back Rudiger's been an absolute rock, hasn't he? Thiago Silva has been as calm as you like. They've offered no chances to Benzema, Eden Hazard in the second half.
Mason Mount, I think, has just been shown a yellow card over on that far side for catching Militao.
And also as well, Deno, we've said a million times that Chelsea have had only 2 men in midfield against Real Madrid's 3, so the work rate that N'Golo Kanté and Jorginho have done, that's been exceptional as well.
There was a period in the first half where I sensed that you worried for them, but the second half they've been terrific.
It's just because it's that movie that you've seen. When you miss so many chances, you think that Real Madrid with Benzema, Hazard, more so Benzema, might just take his one chance, but in truth Chelsea have deserved 2 and probably a lot more.
That's the change that's been in the offing for a while. James replacing Azpilicueta, and we're going to have another change as well for Chelsea, and Hakim Ziyech, who of course was a losing semi-finalist with Ajax in 2019. He has come on.
I think it's Mason Mount, I think.
And Mason Mount going off, well, just getting that yellow card. I certainly want any risks with Mason Mount. He's done his job. He's making his way on that far side. Ziyech for Mason Mount. Chelsea lead 2-0, 3-1 on aggregate, and the referee gives a free kick to Chelsea. And there's going to be a change now for Real Madrid. Mariano Mariano Diaz is going to be coming on. And he is replacing Eden Hazard, who ultimately is disappointed.
He has. Guillaume said beforehand, obviously, that he hasn't been fit, but you just thought he might be able to turn it on against his former club. Had some good, neat touches in the first half. Hardly seen him in the second. And Ramos is now going to play as an emergency striker for Real Madrid, so they're going to have to just go long.
It's going to have to be the most dramatic of endings, though, isn't it? From a Real Madrid side that just haven't created the opportunities in the second half. At times, yes, the threat has been there or thereabouts, or the tension has been there or thereabouts. But that was Valverde pushing over Pulisic, and Valverde's shown the yellow card. And they're just starting to lose their discipline a little bit.
These are good for Chelsea, though. These are good signs. You have a feeling as a player, you'll take these knocks all day long. When you know a team's rattled, you'll take the yellow cards, you'll take the foul, scoreline, the clock, everything's in your friend. You know you're going to the Champions League final.
We'll find out how much added on time there will be. But that second goal, Thomas Tuchel knows, just embraced Azpilicueta and Mason Mount, who've just made their way down below, only now reaching the Chelsea bench after walking around that far side. 4 minutes of stoppage time, which we're now into here on BBC Radio 5 Live, with Chelsea leading by 2-0. And Real Madrid have got to...
They've got too much, Chelsea. They've got too much. They've got too much. You know, the ball retention that they've now got with Hakim Ziyech on the pitch, they're not going to panic. They're just going to keep hold of the ball, just run that clock down, manage the game. Smiles on the bench, all the players know they're there.
Chelsea's first ever European honour was beating Real Madrid in the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1971. Forward wind to 2021, and they will now be challenging Manchester City in the Champions League final in Istanbul. The ball is caught by Courtois. 3 minutes that remain, and for all the desperation that Real Madrid are going to show in these closing stages, Chelsea no. Chelsea no.
Got to go long. They've just got to go long to Sergio Ramos win the first header. That's all they can do, Real Madrid. If Chelsea are smart and they win the ball back, just keep hold of the ball.
Militao going in search of it. Out of play it goes for a throw on that far side. Superb second half performance. Thiago Silva heading it away. Here it comes to Benzema, inside to Modric. Referee gets in the way. It'll be an uncontested drop ball here from about 25 yards out from goal in favour of Real Madrid.
He's had a great game, Thiago Silva. Just won another header.
I mean, you'd said about Kai Havertz, Rudiger at the back as well. There's been a number of players.
Kante's just gone about his work, hasn't he?
Kroos puts it in, caught by Edouard Mendy. I mean, his saves in the first half. Now he looks for that early release, and he might well pick out Pulisic. If Pulisic can keep the ball in play, and he has, and Pulisic now on that far side, the left, Ziyech is up with him. He crosses the ball behind Ziyech, but Reece James is running forward, and Reece James, no foul, says the referee. And Modric was back, but more importantly, it's just taken the ball downfield. But then it's a loose pass, and it's picked up by Ziyech. They're getting a little bit ragged now, Real Madrid.
Nacho can't move. He's absolutely shattered.
Dead on his feet, Nacho. And the game is up for Real Madrid. Celebrations and the smiles down on the Chelsea bench. They're going to make a couple of more changes with Zuma and Giroud to come on. But we're about 60 seconds away from Chelsea booking their place. And here are Chelsea once more. Here is Reece James to shoot, and fires it wide, right-footed, out for a goal kick. Chelsea still lead 2-0.
Yeah, why not take the shot on?
So Giroud will come on for Kai Havertz, who's been brilliant for Chelsea this evening. Your man of the match, John Hutchison.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. He's had some good games for Chelsea. Fulham at the weekend with a brace. I think this has been the best one up against the standard and the calibre of players that he's played against. He's dominated Sergio Ramos all night.
And taking his time. There's going to be a double change, but I think now looking at it down below, Thomas Tuchel has just changed his mind. It's just going to be Giroud who's going to be coming on. But by my watch, the 4 minutes are all but up. And Chelsea are a matter of seconds away from booking their place in the Champions League final. It's a free kick in Chelsea's favour, and it is another clean sheet for Thomas Tuchel. He is yet to lose to Real Madrid in the Champions League. He'll have won 2 and drawn 4. He's undefeated against Spanish sides. And so this weekend's game in the Premier League will be a dress rehearsal for the Champions League final. And here is Ziyech, goes down under a challenge. The referee says no penalty. But it matters not, because there is the final whistle. And Chelsea have beaten Real Madrid by 2-0. Blue will be the colour on the 29th of May. But will it be the Sky Blues of Manchester City or the Royal Blue of Chelsea who will be crowned champions of Europe? They go through 3-1 on aggregate, and thoroughly deserved.
Absolutely, been absolutely outstanding. No handshake from Zidane towards Thomas Tuchel. He'll be disappointed, Zinedine Zidane. His team haven't showed up, especially in the second half, but the chances that Chelsea have created, so many, not half chances neither, really good ones. Outstanding work from Chelsea, deserved to go through.
What a shame the supporters are not here to witness it, because Stamford Bridge would be going absolutely mental to this tune if they were inside the stadium, but they can at least look forward to a Champions League final against Manchester City. 2-0 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate. Mark.
And as you've both said, Don, thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, and we're just hearing the tunes of One Step Beyond. Quite apt, isn't it, that they're going to go to the Champions League final. They were so good, Mark, honestly. In a pressure game where you think, I was coming to the game tonight thinking, right, what sort of game am I going to see? I was convinced it was going to be a chess match. I thought it might even have been 0-0. I couldn't have been more wrong. The second half, they were just brilliant. Not half chances, as I said, they could have won the game by 5 or 6.
It takes me back, actually, to what we talked about pre-match about Guardiola and talking about City and needing not to be shy. And actually, that was perfect for Chelsea tonight, because not once did they ever look like they were settling for what they already have, whether that be the away goal at the start of the game or the 1-0 lead in the second half. They never settled.
No, they didn't. I thought it was finely matched, though, the first 20 minutes of the game, because Real Madrid started really well. And I thought it was a chance. When I looked at the tactics of the two games, I still thought Thomas Tuchel took a chance in midfield, giving up that extra man. When you've got Casemiro, Toni Kroos and Luka Modric, you don't want to give Luka Modric too much free time. And they were just starting to create some good chances, Real Madrid. Not outstanding ones, but Mendy had to pull off 2 or 3 big saves. But he really trusted the positional sense of Mason Mount. And even though Mason Mount didn't have one of his best games, positionally, he caused Real Madrid so many problems.
Ian?
Just thought we talked before about the number of players who caught the eye. Rudiger, Kai Havertz, Thiago Silva. You think back to the saves that Edouard Mendy made in that first half, because Real Madrid they struggled to create the opportunities, although there was still that jeopardy in the tie. But the saves from Benzema, that one to his left from the edge of the area, and then the acrobatic save from the header from Benzema, and just, you know, key moments.
Bizarre scenes I'm seeing on my TV. I'm seeing Eden Hazard with Kurt Zouma and Edouard Mendy laughing, joking. The Champions League semi-final, I know they're his friends, but that plays into the narrative of what Guillaume was talking about before. I can't imagine Ronaldo coming off the pitch for Real Madrid laughing. I just can't see that. That's how laid back Eden Hazard is, and I'm not criticising him. I just find it a little bit of a weird watch. I would be devastated if I was him.
But at the end, that sounded like Zidane was devastated. You said there was no handshake at the end.
No, he looked at sort of Thomas Tuchel, Zidane, he thought about it, and then he just thought, well, they're going to get wrapped up, Chelsea, in their celebrations. There probably is after, because, as we know, he's not got any malice in him. You know, he'll take the game and he'll take it the right way, and they'll probably have a drink afterwards, or shake hands afterwards is probably not a big thing on the continent. But I just think he looked at Thomas Tuchel running on the pitch, celebrating with these players, and he left them to it. It was more the reaction of Eden Hazard, I find, a real strange one.
It's also the end of Real Madrid's 19-match unbeaten run. They've not tasted defeat before today since January against Levante, so they're going to have to dust themselves down and try and get themselves back in the contention for the title race at the weekend against Sevilla.
It'd be interesting to find out in the long run how Eden Hazard's performance tonight and how, as Don says, how he's reacting post-match will be reported in Spain at the end of that game. As far as I mean,
I can imagine.
You would have thought.
Well, I could imagine, Mark, and imagine if some cameraman has got a picture of Eden Hazard laughing at Real Madrid going out in the Champions League semi-final at Chelsea against his former club. I don't think that'll go down well.
The threats, as they were, tended to come from Benzema. He was their main threat, wasn't he, really, tonight? Stay with us. We'll round up the whole night. We'll look ahead to what is now an all-English Champions League final on the 29th of May in Istanbul, Manchester City against Chelsea. Before we do that, just coming up to 10 o'clock, Aaron Paul has your news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Mark. 2 Royal Navy patrol vessels are being sent to Jersey in an escalating row with France over post-Brexit fishing rights. Earlier, France warned it could cut
I'm hypnotized.